Guerrilla cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla. Take guard, man the barricades, patrol the cover boundary. At last the time is come, this is a cricketing emergency. Hear this call to arms for every cricket revolutionary. Take up your bats and stumps for the test match insurgency. At first they tried to silence us, but we would not be silenced. They threatened us with lies, so we threatened them with violence. Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket. It's not about the winning, it's about how many rules you break. Even in cricket commentary, this is the best advice to take. Pick guerrilla cricket, it's the finest choice you'll ever make. There's so much more to cricket than red counters and a slice of cake. At first they tried to sanitize us and clean up our act, but people like it filthy, and we know that for a fact. Fidel Castro, Lenny Pascoe, Carlos the Jackal, Umar Akmal, Mahatma Gandhi, Grant and Andy, Brendan Behan, Austin Ian, guerrilla cricket. Stick with us, cause you know we're not the kind of thing that you see on the TV and the radio. So vive la revolution. First they tried to buy us, but we would not be bought. Okay, we were, but then we ran away, and we will not be caught. Would not give up the ghost when they left us all for dead. They decapitated us, but we just grew another head. Chairman Mao, Jamie Howe, Ho Chi Minh, Asif Din, Václav Havel, Graham Saville, No Surrender, Percy Fender, Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket.
Bangalore, Barcelona, and now Dubai. Can New Zealand make it a hat-trick of sporting victories this weekend after fun against India in the Test match, slaughtering Britain in the America's Cup, and now we have the World Cup T20 final, the women's final, and we have two teams out there that have never won this competition. They have broken the stranglehold of Australia. It's South Africa versus New Zealand. Good morning, good afternoon, good dawn, good dusk, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Guerrilla Cricket. I'm Gorilla Hendo, Nigel Henderson, and I am joined by a very upset Australian. Well, he's kind of originally English, but he's gone over to the dark side. He lives in a dark weather cave. It's Messi Jez.
Hello, I'm not upset at all. I think it's great for women's cricket that Australia lost, and I think South Africa were a very worthy winner. So no, I'm not upset in the least, I can assure you. Hello. And
there.
the GPL is open, and it is open until 3:45, and it's at 68 quid at the moment, so go for it.
68 quid, and making an appearance as well, I'm sure she'll just have a little bit of bias towards her home nation. It's the wonderful Shelley. Hello, Shelley.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Hendo.
So how are you feeling?
For today. No, really excited. I think everybody knows South Africa's been waiting for a win on any form of cricket pitch for a very long time. So bias, absolutely.
Oh, good. Well, we were worried, and that if we had you on ball by ball, and South Africa were going to have to bat in it, and at first that you might take too many wickets, because you, like me, are a wicket taker when it comes to your commentary position. But we shall see. We do know that New Zealand are going to bat because South Africa won the toss and put them into bat. Now, Tony told me something earlier. I don't know if Shelley, if you can confirm this, because I haven't seen all of their games, but he was saying that the South African 11 has been the same in every game. Is that right? Do we know if that's right?
Well, it looks the same team that I've been seeing the whole World Cup, so I'm pretty sure Tony is then right, because it's looking the same team that was in the semi-finals and the quarter-finals. So, yeah, it looks the same team to me.
What an innings that was by Annika Bosch. That was incredible, wasn't it, in the semi-final against Australia. I mean, she could have been caught before she'd scored. She got a little top edge to a sweep, and I thought as it went up, oh, she's gone. Unfortunately, it fell into sort of vacant space, but then after that, she just batted beautifully. And, you know, sometimes in a tournament, a player doesn't really sort of rise to the top, or you're disappointed with them. And before that, she hadn't been really doing much to make you notice her, but she really did stand up in that innings. It's absolutely marvellous. I shall bring you the teams, and I will I will ask Shelley if I'm getting pronunciation right. Laura Wolfart is the captain for South Africa. Tasmin Brits, Annika Bosch, Marizanne Kapp, Sune Luce, Chloe Tryon, Annerie Derrickson, Nadine de Klerk, Sinalo Jafta, the wicketkeeper, Nonkula Leiko Mlaba, the left-arm spinner, and Ayabonga Kaka. How was that? How was my pronunciation?
Not bad at all.
Oh, good.
I'll give that 9 out of 10.
9. Whoa! Well, I feel like I'm on Strictly Come Dancing. For New Zealand,
that's a scary thought.
It is a very scary thought. Susie Bates, of course, will be opening for New Zealand with Georgia Plimmer, Amelie Kerr, Sophie Devine, the captain, Brooke Halliday, Maddie Green, Izzy Gaze, the wicketkeeper, Rosemary Mayer, Leah Tahuhu, Eden Carson, and Fran Jonas. Let's have a little think. I mean, even with your bias, Shelley, what's it saying in your water? What are you saying? Are you saying a South African win?
I'm hoping there is one, but I think today is going to come down to the top order of South Africa versus the spinners of New Zealand. I think the two spinners of New Zealand, being Carson and Kerr, had an unbelievable game against the West Indies, and I think the top order of South Africa has been firing for most of the tournament. So for me, that's the big combo. Who's going to come out on top, and whoever does will win.
You're absolutely right. Messi, any thoughts, any feelings, any sort of gut?
Well, my gut feeling says South Africa is probably the stronger team, and I think their aggression is their biggest weapon. I think if New Zealand are to win, they're going to have to be more aggressive in the first 10 overs than most teams have been.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing. I've also got $5 on South Africa that I got at 22-1. So I really do want South Africa to win.
What odds were those? That's brilliant.
That's incredible.
That was the odds on winning the tournament just before England got knocked out. I thought it was too good to miss.
Okay, well, you're on the socials. I wonder whether you want to, before we start, you maybe want to sort of.
Well, there is a super chat that I think we should give attention to. The wonderful Muttley has sent us £10.
Wow!
He says, "Woof, morning primates, all geared up with today's food porn for the final. If anyone wants to see it, if they have to subscribe to Patreon and join the Discord, because Muttley shares his pictures of his food porn with us on Discord for Patreon, which I think is very good of him. The other thing I should say in relation to super chats is that we have adopted recently a practice where if you super chat us enough money, you can nominate the title you want to be known by for the day. So we had, for example, Duchess Dawada Duchess's hat the other day. We had a Commander as one person. So you pay for it, we'll give you a title for the day. You choose what the title is, and we're shameless about finding ways of taking money from you.
Well, there seems to be huge backing for South Africa in the stadium in Dubai. All the pictures are of them. I haven't seen too many Kiwis. The GPL is the first 45 minutes, as we've already said. I have to say, Tony came racing in with a piece of paper on which he'd written GPL 45 minutes. But you've already covered that, haven't you, Messi? Anyone else with us? Let's have a look.
Indeed, there is. There's lots of people with us, I'm pleased to say. Richard Mutford says, great toss to win for South Africa. Brown in Brisbane says, afternoon all, hi from Beer Gorilla in Northampton. The sun is now after storm, whatever went through. Oh, I see Shelley is there. I'll save her GPL a while until I see Shelley's form.
Right, yes.
Parrot Badshaw says, ahoy, old salts and sea dogs. And we're probably in jingling up phase, though.
Absolutely. We don't want to waste Mog's jingles, do we? Let's go for it.
Susie Bates. Susie Bates. Susie Bates. Susie Bates.
And she'll be opening with...
Let's go, you bastards. Georgia Plymouth's here at last.
So there we go. They're the opening batters out and ready to face the first ball of the final, which is going to be bowled by, well, you know who it is. Surely you know who it is. I mean, even I know who it is. It's this woman. Oh, yes.
She'll burn you.
They are.
Her gaze is like fire.
She's got a slip, but it's a lovely shot, a cut shot to a fairly full ball that was swinging away. Mlaba does the fielding down at third man. I thought they should have got two there, and they've only got one. But New Zealand are up and running, and it means that Georgia Plymouth is down to face her first ball in the final. Of course, South Africa were the defeated finalists in last year's competition. I was thinking to myself, these T20 Women's World Cup finals seem to come around an awful lot. But then, of course, one was postponed by the looks of things, wasn't it, to 2023? Yeah. That's why we've had two in 2 years. Otherwise, there'd been a 2-year gap. Anyway, Cap has got one slip. Down the wicket comes Plymouth. Aims a big booming drive at that, slightly cross-batted, and misses it. Goes through the keeper. There was a little bit of interest there as to whether she might have got a thin edge, but no. Nimali Pereira is one of the umpires standing today, 41st T20 International. Claire Polisak is the other standing official. In comes Cap again, bowls. Oh, now she played outside that one, maybe just nipped back a little bit from Cap. 70 miles an hour. That's about the ceiling that we've seen in terms of pace in this competition. But actually, it's been a competition on slow pitches that has favoured the spinners, really, I have to say.
Although Marizanne Cap has done remarkably well.
Oh yeah, in she comes, Plymouth. Wow, smacks that over. Well, cow really. Cross-batted shot over mid-wicket, mid-on, and picks up the first of these of the final.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
And you get the feeling, I don't know what you think, Shelley, but you get the feeling that New Zealand are kind of aware of not getting off to a really fast start in the power play. So they look like they're going for it today.
I think so, and I think they're also thinking that Cup is probably the leading lady for South Africa, so if they can get to her, they are going to get it on the front foot.
Nice drive from Plymouth, but hit too hard, really, up to mid-off, so they can't take the run. 5 for no wicket. Still one ball to come in this over. And, well, if they can get a good start, they got a good start, did a decent start against the West Indies. I think got to about 48, didn't they? Something like that, 48, 49 before Bates got out. Another stat that Tony was telling me in the car, and this will upset him because I'm taking all his stats from him, is that Susie Bates has the most caps in international cricket, in international women's cricket. I guess that takes in all the formats. But she's out there. She's got 1 from 1. But Plymouth is going to face 1 ball remaining of caps over. She's in. Plymouth plays a very powerful pull shot. She's hit that really well. There is a woman out there, but she won't get round to it. It's another of these. Nine for none off caps first over. Shelley, are you shaking?
Not even close. It's a long game to go.
She's just waiting for her time on ball by ball when the wickets will tumble, no doubt. But that's
Richard Mumford.
Go on.
Richard Mumford says, afternoon, thanks for the great coverage. Tony Bishop says, phew, I've been fact-checked and validated by the ultimate arbiter, Shelley. Ferron says, Sunday evening rum greetings to all. Muttley says, jokes, love and sausages. And Fiona Shin says, good afternoon from South Africa. Good afternoon, Fiona.
Good afternoon.
It's great to have you here. Unfortunately, for New Zealanders, they're having to get up in the middle of the night, quite literally, if they're following this. We have a few with us.
Well, it's pace at both ends. Kaka is in, and Plymmer is down the wicket, and she plays a shot that she played in the first over, almost up to cow corner, and there is a fielder, Smith, I think, trying to get around there, but can't. And it's, would you believe, 4 more. What's going on? She's using her feet very well. She's coming down the wicket and then cross-batting it. And even though there was a little bit of seam movement there, back into her. Sorry, that was Susie Bates, wasn't it? It wasn't Plymmer. So Bates following Plymmer's lead. In comes Kaka again. She's down the wicket once more and he whips it off her hip out to deep backward square for a single. Bates moves to 6. Plymmer has 8. 14 for no wicket. This is very proactive from New Zealand, you have to say. There we go. Most matches played. Just after I'd said it. Susie Bates, 334 matches in women's international cricket, just above Mithali Raj. She was a good player, wasn't she? Indian Mithali Raj. She was absolutely superb. Kaka in again. Bowling to Plymmer this time, who chips this into the mid-wicket region. There is no one inside the circle in that position, so they will get a single. It looks like the 2 women out for the power play, certainly to Kaka's bowling, are at deep mid-wicket and long on. I'm not sure about this idea of opening with two pace bowlers from South Africa. Only got 3 wickets in the tournament, Kaka. She's in, bowls, a little bit of in-swing, and again it's flicked through mid-wicket. They're going to come back for 2, are they? They're thinking about it. In the end, they decide not. Throw comes in, it's well backed up. 16 for no wickets. Shelley, what do you think? Has this been the way that South Africa have gone about things in this tournament, really?
I'm a little bit surprised. I thought maybe they would have gone with 1 quick and 1 spinner to start. But maybe they've gone with experience to try and settle the nerves, because it's a big game for the girls, and I think sometimes just to try and settle the nerves.
Well, she's come down the wicket. There is a long on out there. Could be a first wicket. It is a first wicket. Plymmer has, just gone a little bit too strongly, got a bit too carried away, and the catch has been taken, which is not something that you've always said in this competition, I'm afraid to say. Plymmer goes for 9. South Africa have a first wicket, and it's a jolly interesting start, isn't it? Well, 2 fours in that 9 and just 7 balls used up, but it's Luce who has come in and taken a very, very well judged catch, and that has put an end to her innings. So 7 runs and a wicket off the first 5 balls of this over, and it brings Amelia Kerr to the crease.
Amelia Kerr is a cricket beast. Hacks on her fingers like a piece of meat. Spoke to the coach the other day. Amelia's doing fine.
We've got another.
So a
Super
very
chat.
important super chat.
Yeah.
This one.
Yep, absolutely.
From Brian in Brisbane, who sent us $5 Australian dollars to keep Hendo tuned up. The doorbell will ring soon. 0300 is the code.
0300.
And that is going to be goodies to keep Hendo happy.
Carker ends the over, not too well, because Kerr has come down the wicket, and she's played another cross-bat shot through mid-wicket, and it's gone all the way to the boundary for another one of these. So 11 runs off the over. The wicket, okay. I don't want to lose too many wickets in playing this way, but it's a marked difference from the way they've played. What I've seen of them in this tournament, New Zealand.
Yes, very much so. Mind you, Plymouth has, in the second innings, in particular, Plymouth's been quite aggressive. I think that's a huge wicket for South Africa to get.
But maybe they're listening to you at the start of the show, Messi. So
Obviously.
exactly.
Everyone does. Everyone tunes in to hear the wisdom of the weather cave. Any news of Storm Ashley? I mean, it's very blowy around Sydenham today.
Sorry, I hadn't been following the English weather because there wasn't any cricket being played. But if you like, I will check it out for you and let you know shortly. David Durrell, aka YY Pop, says, "Afternoon. I thought you'd have more Saffers commentating. I think they're all too busy biting their nails to commentate."
Cap starts a second over. Down the wicket comes Bates and whips it into the leg side. They've now filled that gap on the onside, or maybe a slightly different feel for Cap compared with Kaka. So, they've got a mid-on and a mid-wicket inside the circle there. There's a little shy at the stumps. Did they come through for a single there, or did Kerr get sent back? Not 100% sure. And no, Bates is still waiting, and she gives herself room and tries to carve it into the offside. Drops short of the woman at extra cover.
Very attacking, but I think they're going to give a few chances to the
Yes.
South Africans of this kind of mentality. So how many runs they actually get?
Yeah, it depends where the ball falls, doesn't it? It depends, whether the catches are taken, if they give opportunities. It's brave from New Zealand, I think. Here comes Cap again. She's dispensed with the slip. Oh, that's a fabulous shot. But she's going to get no runs for it. She drove that
Great
with
stop.
immense
Absolutely
power.
great stop.
Was that? Did Cap just stuck out her foot, didn't she?
I thought she did.
Yeah, and took all the pace out of it. It rebounded away. Mind you, the thing about that is, if you get it wrong and you get it on your ankle bone, that can be the end of your game, really. So, just being a little bit frustrated, Susie Bates, in this over so far. Cap in again, gives herself room, cuts it, finds the gap. I'm not sure it's going to go all the way to the boundary. It's going to be pulled in, I think. Yes, it is. By Bosch, of course. Wonderful knock in the semi-final. They moved to 22 for 1. 2 runs from that. And that's one thing that has struck me in the games that I've watched in this tournament, is how difficult it has been to get runs through the offside, especially when you've got a ring of fielders. There's been a lot of balls hit to the fielders, whether that's because there's not quite enough pace in the pitch. Cat bowls. Oh, she's got to edge out to that one, but she's going to get away with it. It's just cleared extra cover. It's dropped a few yards outside the circle, and Cap, sort of wry grin on her face, and it's a no ball, so it wouldn't have counted anyway. So we're going to get a free hit, I believe. This is fun. Always like a free hit in one-day cricket. Let's have a look. Is it you? Ooh, it's a very tight one, but it is one of these.
'Cause I'm free to talk it.
Free to tonk it. That is that's Amelia Kerr who's only faced one ball. She hit 4 with it, and can she make the most of this one? We shall see. Nope, Cap's not started yet. Free hit. Cap is in. Bowls, and she makes room outside the off stump. But where the heck has that gone? Nowhere. In fact, it's bowled her.
Oh, wow.
Well, it doesn't matter because it's a free hit, so she's not out.
Oh,
but from a South African point of view, that's very good.
Oh, me.
Well, that's extraordinary. She seemed to strike it quite well. She must have hit it onto her leg, and it rolled back onto the stumps. That's all I can imagine. We're going to see a replay of this. Yep, onto the foot, and then back onto the stumps.
Can she do that again on the next ball, please?
No, well, it takes incredible skill to have done that. She did it particularly well. I don't think you could do that 99 times out of 100. Driven, looking for that gap on the offside, can't find it. It's very tight there, and that is the end of the over. 3 overs bowled. New Zealand put into bat are 24 for 1. Messi.
Got some instructions for you, Shelley. Dave Wood says, "Come on, Shelley, I want a Michelle from you in this morning's stint." So you got to get moving. She's not on ball by ball till the 6th over. That may be when she's saving it for. At what point will South Africa choke? Over 15 of their innings, says David Durrell. Brown in Brisbane says, "My wife is at Birmingham Airport waiting for a flight to Benindorm. She says all flights to Ireland cancelled due to the storm."
Oh, Lord.
Oh, dear. Carl Herbert says Shelley is only allowed on ball by ball when South Africa is batting. And Muttley wants to know if you're still claiming that wicket off the no ball.
I'm claiming everything, Messi.
Kaka gets a bit of in-swing. Now, the keeper has decided to come up to the stumps to stop this running down the wicket malarkey. But Bates works it away through mid-wicket, and they get a single nonetheless. So they're going to have to take a chance. I mean, if they come down the wicket, there is the stumping opportunity. However, it's not easy to stump people when you're standing up to a quicker bowler. In she comes again, turned with a bit of swing, neatly by Kerr. It's being chased by Tryon, and who was that who got round at deep backward square in the end to field? I'm not 100% sure, but they've got 2 runs from it rather than the 4 they might have got. So New Zealand moved to 27 for 1.
New Zealand has actually gotten off to a really good start. It's good run rate. They just need to look after their wickets.
That's right.
But yeah, I'm all for them going for it.
Kaka in again. She does get some nice in-swing. Kerr pushes up to mid-on and sets off. It looked like a real effort to get to the other end for her there. But I think the fielder was deep set enough for the single to be without too much jeopardy. Now it looks like Alistair Cook is out there with the trophy. He's going to present it by the looks of things.
He's
Kaka
just been inducted into the ICC Hall of
Oh,
Fame.
that's right. Oh, terrible piece of fielding. That should have been picked up. It means that, again, deep square leg has to do the work. 2 more. Oh, just a single this time, seemingly.
But that's also surprising that they've got Cup down there on the boundary and has literally had to be running quite far for 2 consecutive deliveries. So I think she'll be pretty tired at the start of her next over if she goes again.
Yes, indeed. Kaka in once more. Bates cuts. She just tried to adjust her line a little bit there by starting it more outside off stump. But she's got away with that. Bates was trying to put it away through that infield. As I say, it's very difficult to get runs through there. Has proved so in this tournament. And I'm guessing it's really just down to the lack of pace off the pitch. Anyway, Kaka in to complete the over. Bates goes right across outside her off stump and then pulls into the onside. She beats the diving figure at mid-on, and the deep move wicket can't get around. Brilliant shot, brilliant placement. It's 4 more. Four overs bowled. New Zealand 34 for 1. Messi.
David Wood says, if Tony makes disparaging comments about the Saffers number 3, is that the bish bashing bosh?
Oh, good one. Good one.
That's message of the day so far. The GPL is now up to £71.
Keep going, keep going.
And you've got 25 minutes to get in. And Brian Barish is with us. He just says, "G'day, cricket nerds." G'day, Brian. Good to have you aboard.
G'day. Now we're going to get the first change in bowling. Cap is coming out of the attack, and it's going to be Chloe Tryon. Is that right? Tryon or Trion?
I say Tryon.
Tryon. Okay. She's going to bowl to Kerr, I think it is. Again, you look at the bowlers and the names that come up, and there seem to be so many bowlers that haven't taken very many wickets in this tournament. She's taken just the 2. She's going to be bowling to Kerr.
But I'm really happy they're starting to take the pace off the ball. I think the pace at the beginning, I think was to settle the nerve, but I think they had to go towards spin.
She's left arm around the wicket, and back goes Kerr. The ball skids on a little bit. She manages to sort of haul it into the leg side out to deep mid-wicket, takes a single. And so another useful run in the power play for New Zealand. But that really, we're just looking at that shot at the end of the previous over. Bates gives herself room, and Tryon follows her outside the leg stump, and she can't work it. It comes off her pad, and there is no run. Bates has 17 off 14. Kerr has 8 off 6. 35 for 1 run rate, just up above 8. In again, comes down the wicket. Didn't quite get there, and it's working it. She could be in trouble. She's going to have to go back. She had kind of run for the shot, and Kerr had not moved and had said no, so Susie Bates was sent back. But she'd come a fair way down, has to be said.
Halfway down easy.
Oh yeah, definitely halfway down. It went to square leg. It only just got back, to be honest. Tryon in it, outside the off stump, and this time Bates is trying to pull a ball that kind of dives in the surface. Maybe got it low on the bat, and again can't get it past square leg. Good start from Chloe Tryon. She has just the 1 run off 4 balls. And yeah, it makes you wonder whether maybe they should have started with spin at one end. That's a lovely cut shot, but again, can't get it through. The offside. They're just not getting runs in that area, teams in this tournament. 17 off 17 now, Bates. So they'll be getting a little bit frustrated, and this is where wickets can fall. Let's see what Bates does with the final ball of this over. She goes right across and then sweeps through mid-wicket. A lot of movement at the crease trying to put the bowler off, but it's not really working for her that well at the moment. That's the end of the over. It does take a single. She'll takes a single. She should keep the strike. Messi.
We're due a change. We're up to date on messages, but I can tell you that as far as I can tell, you in London are perfectly safe from the storm. There's a little bit of rain for the next few half hour or so, and then you should be in the clear. Not a lot of wind. It's all good.
I don't know why, but I thought I had another over because I thought I was going along with the power play, but obviously I'm not. Tony's coming in, Jason is coming in, and Shelley is going to take over on ball by ball.
There we go.
Excellent.
But definitely the slow bowler of Chloe Tryon coming in as an immediate effect, immediately drops the runs per over to only getting 2 in the last over. And really going to be making this interesting. We also have a bowling change, Tony, when you have a second to play the jingle, if we have one, for Mahlaba. Mahlaba is in and pulled onto the leg side, and it should be just they've run for 2. Very well run indeed. So 2 runs off the first ball of the over. Tony.
Hello there, Shelley.
How's it?
You're going to have to work some magic. That's only the 2nd wicket New Zealand have lost in a power play in the whole
I'm
tournament.
I'm going to be trying. I'm trying. Mahlaba in and down the crease, but falls just short of a diving fielder. No run. Very nicely bowled. And immediately, since the spinners have come on, there's been some action. Ball definitely gripping into the surface, turning away from the batter, and very close to being a chance. Very, very close. Maslaba in, and outside edge, but falls to nobody. And again, another no chance this time, but again some action on from the ball. So yes, lots of interesting movement since the spinners have come on compared to the seam bowlers, clearly showing that the pitch is doing something, and pulled out. So Slaba was on her way in and the batter stepped away.
I mean, it's been a pace-off tournament, generally, as we've seen.
Slaba in and pulled onto the leg side and is 4 runs.
Yeah, not quite found her range. I mean, they bowled beautifully, of course, in the tournament, but extra nerves of the final, probably. Up against a very strong opening pair. As I say, only 1 wicket lost during the power play for the whole tournament. Plymouth the second, although I thought she'd nailed that shot, but it was just straight down long on's throat in the end, wasn't it?
Maslaba in again, and again pulled onto the leg side, but this time straight to the fielder and will just be a single. But indeed, very much so. It's been a face-off tournament, but I also just think it's played a big role in the decision for South Africa to start with 2 fast bowlers, to settle the nerves, 2 experienced bowlers, and but now the spinners can come in, particularly through the middle overs. Maslaba in for the last ball of the over, just pushed into the offside for no run, and that's the end of the over. 43 for 1 after 6.
It's the end of the power play as well. Jason, are you all geared up?
I am. Nothing on the thing formerly known as X, formerly known as.
Oh no, it's all YouTube's the place to go these days.
So on YouTube we've got
loads going on there.
Yep. Carl Hope says Shirley is only allowed to bowl while South Africa is batting, but I think you've got an equal opportunity, wicket destroyer, Shelley, because you're on for both sessions. Muttley says Stella, she'll claiming that one. That's the Plymouth wicket, and Lockie says this is exciting.
Well, it's a good start, certainly. There's no doubt about that.
And
100%.
David Ward says it's blowing harder than Monica Lewinsky in the Oval Office. I think that's a bit too
steady on.
Yes. Let's not go down that route.
We'll go down of any kind, but yes, I think you're probably right.
And to start the next over will be Chloe Tryon, and pulled into the leg side, straight to the fielder. But definitely, there seems to be an attempt to be very aggressive, I would say, by the New Zealanders, trying to put their influence on this game. Reverse sweep, and is well fielded by, I didn't see who that was, but only a single. Very interesting to pull out the reverse sweep so early on.
Yeah,
really
they've been very inventive. They've used power and touch very nicely. As you say, I think they're absolutely trying to put South Africa off their stride, and I wouldn't say it's working necessarily, but they've certainly gone for more than I think they've been used to going for. So you'd put it down as a very decent start, just the loss of the 1 wicket as well.
And for a final, I think this is what you want, is a really competitive game, and hopefully we get into the last 2 or 3 overs. Try on in and put into the offside, but should just be a single to the boundary rider.
Chloe Tryon had a very good 100, as I think she, for London Spirit, I think it was her second 100 season. She'd played, I think, for Southern Braves before.
Honestly,
did well with the bat and took a few wickets as well.
Indeed, but honestly, one of the hardest hitters of a cricket ball I've ever seen of a lady. Try on in again, and this time delicately played, and very well run for 2 runs, that looked like, and didn't go very far. So very well run by the New Zealand batters.
Yeah, I think it had to be 2 good runs because the fielder, was it Dixon, turned and threw in one motion, and it was a very accurate throw to the keeper, and had it not been on their mettle in the running, I think they could have been found out.
Yeah, no, you're dead right, Jace.
Try on in again, and pulled onto the leg side, but there is a boundary rider, so coming back for a second again. Great running.
Yeah, very good running. I mean, it makes you wonder now what a decent score would be. The average first innings score for matches at Dubai in this tournament is 127. So India were at the top end of that. They made 172 against Sri Lanka, but the bottom end was poor old Pakistan, of course, against Australia, who just fell over for 82.
Try on in again, and they're going to scamper a single that was just played onto the leg side, and that is the end of the 7th over. New Zealand are 50 for 1. Anything to update us on socials?
Dara Azizi says hi all. Brian in Brisbane sends a message, but is then deleted, I think. So
Something else has popped up though, Jason.
She says I sound rough while I'm at the end of a week-long cold and cough infection. So yes, thank you, Brian. I am recovering. I'm at the sort of throaty, growly voice stage now.
You've also gone full baseball cap look today. What's it say on it? Oh, it's the Gorilla Cricket baseball cap. Well, there you go. There you are then. You can get that from the merchandise store. Looks very good on Jason. What else was I going to say? Both South Africa and New Zealand have both got the upper end of that average. So they South Africa, I think, got 166 against Scotland. Mind you, everyone got runs against poor old Scotland, I think. New Zealand got 160 against India. So although the average first innings score is down at about 127, both of these two at Dubai have passed it. And looking at this so far, Shelley, from what New Zealand have achieved in 7 overs, you can probably see why, can't you?
Exactly. I think it's been a great start for New Zealand, particularly since it's the final. There must have been nerves with the girls, and 50 for 1, it's a great platform to accelerate for them. For South Africa, I just hope they do get 1 or 2. Make it a really competitive game today.
I'm presuming, Tony, you might have the stats on this, that this is a new pitch for the final.
I don't have the stats on that, but you'd really like to hope so. No Pakistan shenanigans.
Mahlaba in for the start of her over and pulled onto the leg side just for a single. But I definitely think Mahlaba is getting some nice action off the pitch. It's just about getting that consistency now. She was struggling a bit last over with the way that Bates particularly came after her. But let's see if she's able to find that consistent line and length. Mahlaba in, this time down the leg side, but well stopped.
That's going to be a wide, surely. Yep.
Yeah, but well stopped. That could have been a lot more than a wide.
We'll probably jingle that briefly. There we go. Wow. How do we pronounce Mahlaba's first name, please, Shelley, for when it's my turn to try it?
And in again, Mahlaba, and this time pulled onto the leg side, but it should be cup in for just a single.
Yeah, it was. Nonkululeko Mahlaba? Is that about right? Or nowhere close?
Nonkululeko. I would go with ko at the end.
Ko. Nonkululeko. Yes. Okay, yes. Nonkululeko Mahlaba.
Yes, that's pretty good.
All right, there we go. Not too bad. Not too bad. She's having a cracking World Cup, I'll say that.
Mahlaba in, and this time a little bit more speed onto the ball, straight through to the keeper, but a single dot ball on that one.
I mean, it emphasises just how important spin has been. She's the top wicket top wicket taker for South Africa. 10 wickets.
In and gets her. Bates is gone and hits the wicket. Come on, girls.
No bias there then. There was me saying she's the top wicket taker, and what should happen?
Yep.
There you go. Where is it? Everything's moved down a bit. Here we are. Let's celebrate. I can't say you silly little boy, can we? Better not use that one. We'll use this one.
Fantastic delivery, and really impressive.
Well, that's a big wicket.
It is.
Massive wickets on Bates.
Bates has been going well.
Well, I was literally about to say, funnily enough, 10 wickets at 10.5 in the 5 games so far.
So it's 11 wickets at 10ish now.
So she's improved on that for sure.
Well, this is a big point in the tournament with this lady coming to the crease.
Is it Amelie?
No, it's Sophie.
Sophie Devine.
Oh, Sophie Devine. Here she is then.
I'm just looking for one supreme batter.
defeat defines that player.
Good to see the stadium's filled up a bit as well.
Yeah.
25,000 odd capacity. It looks like it wasn't going to get close, Shelley, early on, but probably half full now, probably half to 3/4 full. Not bad for a Sunday night.
Great to see. Great to see. There's a bit of an atmosphere going. Particularly, it's really important for the final of the ladies' game to see so many people in. So, yeah, really great to see. And this one is Mahlaba in and down the leg side, but well taken by the keeper, but it will be a wide.
Yeah, I'm not going to jingle every wide, but yeah, that was a. But for a slow left armer, I mean, she's clearly looking for the one that nips back like a leg break, isn't she? So she's trying to push it down that side to get the one that just nips back to the right hander.
And again, Mahlaba in and should be another wide, but this time it should also be at least a single. If they come back for two, that looks like two wides. She's got to just pull it back a little bit.
It's a wide +2, so that could be in fact 3.
Yeah.
What a great celebration as well. Mahlaba in again, this time pulled back nicely, just pitching on middle and leg and played as a defensive shot into the offside, no run.
Yeah, we've been talking a lot about celebrations recently with who's the Pakistan?
The off spinner.
The offie, yeah. I've forgotten his name.
Khan.
Khan, yes.
Not Khan.
Mahlaba in and just defended into the offside. They tried to
Zakir
scamper
Khan?
but went back. So that's the end of the 8th over, 57 for 2. Jason, do you have anything for us to update on the socials?
Well, just one from Carl Herbert. As you'd expect, he says to you, "Damn you, Shelley."
Would I be
powers
right in
still
thinking
remain.
Mr. Herbert is very much behind New Zealand in the...
Quite possibly. I'll ask for I'll wait for him to confirm it.
I can only imagine he must be.
And Hattie the Batty says it's very windy here in the bar in Coventry.
Hattie the Batty, she was upgraded due to super chatting. I think it was the Dowager Duchess of Hat she became. And during the Test match, I don't think we transfer that over to T20s though.
Start of the next over and Cup is back and hits Kerr on the pad, no runs, very slight appeal, but a dot ball.
Well outside a leg.
It was moving down. It did. She bowled a cutter and it moved in quite substantially off the pitch.
Very interesting that they decided to bring Cup back after the two spin bowlers have really set the tone in the last 3 overs.
Well, she's not used to getting hit around as much as she has been, Marizan Cap. I mean, she's the 3rd highest economy in the tournament leading up to the final.
Cup in again and should just be a single. No, yes, just a single, sent back. Very good fielding on the boundary to keep that to 1 run.
Also the second best strike rate with the bat as well, which shows the value she does have.
I think bringing Cat back is actually a nod to how well New Zealand has started, and the fact that this is a crucial partnership and they want to break it as early as possible.
They certainly do.
I mean, Millie Kirk is an excellent player. She's not always had the stats to prove it in the shortest form of the game, and Sophie Devine has got a job to do it for when she's opening in longer forms of the game.
Cup in again, this time just played on the leg side just for a single. But really and truly, I just think this is going to be a really nice competitive game. It's already looking like it's not going to be one-sided, which is at the end of the day the best for women's cricket. So I'm just really excited that we're in for something quite special today.
Yeah, we certainly hope so. I mean, whatever happens, there's a new name on the trophy.
Cup in again and pulled onto the leg side. But this should be fielded only for 1 run. There we go.
I was just looking at Emily Kerr. I mean, talk about a sporting family. What, Grandad
was a
played
Test
for
player.
New Zealand, yeah. Mother played for Wellington.
Dad
Sister Jessica is in this World Cup, of course.
Dad played for Wellington as a first class, but I don't think he ever made it into the international side.
And then her cousin Priscilla Duncan played football for the White Ferns in international football.
And Cup came in, and it was a false start. She didn't bowl the delivery, so she's headed back. I think she nearly lost the ball, if I'm honest.
I think there's early evening, still pretty sweaty. I think she'd lost her grip on the ball.
Do you think there's much dew there tonight?
It's not been the issue it has been previously in Dubai, but always likely to be. Oh,
There we go, Cup in again, and I don't even know what to call that shot, but it goes behind the keeper for a single.
I'm
Leg by.
I'm not sure it's a shot. I think it just came straight off the body and just beat the keeper, flapping, trying to stop it as it was just wide of her. Yeah.
It was an attempted pull to the leg side, but went over the bat.
well, it certainly wasn't where she was aiming it. So
Definitely
fortunate.
not.
Fortunate might be a word.
Cup in for the last ball. Oh, well, I shouldn't have said last ball, because that was a wide down the leg side. South Africans really need to tighten up on the extras, because it's already been at least 5 or 6 wides.
Yeah.
They're very much targeting this very tight leg stump line, and there's not a lot of room for error with it.
So Cup in for hopefully the last ball of the over, and an attempted hoik onto the leg side, misses the ball under the bat, and it is a dot ball. End of the 9th over, 62 for 2. Jason.
We have a
Super chat.
And Tony's got there ahead of me. There's super chat from Hat in the Batty, who says, "The Countess Hat of Bat is her moniker, please."
The Countess. Oh, is that a promotion from Dowager Duchess Hattie? Or is it a sideways move?
And a reminder from the Gorilla Cricket gremlins in the back room. GPL is open, and it closes in 5
more
minutes.
5 more minutes. Remember, the
71
average
quid.
127 is the average first innings score, so you can work some maths around that if you wish. However, both of these teams have got well past that. 166 versus Scotland for South Africa, 160 versus India for New Zealand, both at Dubai.
And Chloe Tryon will be in for the next over to bowl the 10th. She's just doing a few little field adjustments, and I think that's particularly important given the amount of running and pushing that these two batters have already done. So Tryon in, pitching down the leg side and helped on its way. This is going to be a bit of a race, but should be fielded by Kaka, and 2 runs. So again, the South African bowlers going down the leg side really need to try and adjust their line and length to be a little bit more towards middle. Tryon in again, and pushed down the ground directly past the bowler and fielded, and just for a single.
It wasn't very far away from being caught and bowled, that, I don't think. I'd like to see that from the other end to see how far in front of Tryon that ball pitched, but that was only just inside the stumps on the far end.
I always think it's so difficult when the bat is in the way. It almost makes it so difficult for the bowler to get there, because you're almost trying to navigate your way around the batter. Try on in again, and beautifully driven down the ground, but should just be a single.
Yeah, that's a better line. That's more sort of middle and off, hitting middle and leg. And no, you can bowl a very defensive field with that. No, you could have one in for the ball that's tried to work through mid-wicket, and one on the boundary to only give a single for the ball that's driven hard straight.
Try on in again pitching down leg, but this time another wide though, but well stopped by the keeper. I'm really worried about the amount of extras. 9 already, and we are only in the 10th over.
Wide.
Try on in. This time. This time she attempted to stop the ball, but she got muddled with the batter, and they got a single down the ground.
Yeah, she dived to her right, didn't she? But seemed to get in a bit of a tangle, and the ball just, annoyingly for her, just popped up over the pair of them.
Try on in, and again played down the ground, almost in the exact same place, but a little bit wider. Another single
Well, now that one,
That's good bowling.
well, it was good bowling, but that potentially was a catching chance because it was in the air. It wasn't a bump ball, and had she been able and free, had the batsman, batter, beg your pardon, not been in the way, that might have been a chance.
Try on in again and single onto the leg side, but a lot more comfortable that time. And that is the end of the 10th over, 74 to New Zealand, and that's the end of my stint.
Should
2
be.
wickets.
Yep, Richard Hendo will be back. Messers will be jumping on. You'll be back later, Shelley. To the delight of us all, I shall vacate the chair for Hendo.
And we should be on a drinks break now, so there's no mad rush for Hendo. Nick Vicker says, "Hi everyone, lovely bonus to hear Guerrilla Cricket during the final. Is Shelley taking all the wickets again?" Well, she's taken a couple. She's actually been a little disappointed, I'm afraid. Pirate Badshall thinks Dowager Duchess to Countess is actually a demotion for her. Countess had... I'm not sure. I think Countess... Anyhow. Daniel Kruger says, "The wides freak me out. The difference." Yes, it's a hell of a lot of extras. 9 extras in 10 overs. I tell you what, though, I think, Hendo, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I can't recall seeing 10 consecutive overs in this World Cup where there has been no catch dropped.
Well, I haven't watched every game, but I've seen a lot of catches dropped. There was talk about maybe your vision was not particularly good in the Dubai Stadium, but really everyone's got to be doing better, haven't they?
Well, there haven't been a lot that could go down so far. There was just the one chance,
True.
and it was taken.
That's
Happening for
absolutely
South
true.
Africa.
That's absolutely true.
So we're keeping up a South African presence throughout this with you being here for the next 10 overs, Richard.
It's important, isn't it? Is Shelley not on with me today? Have we been deliberately
No.
separated?
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah,
Are the powers that be concerned will misbehave?
probably. Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I haven't looked closely.
You're on in summary at the very end together.
Okay. Cool.
Yes, they will either be sort of drowning your sorrows together at that point, or celebrating a great historic South Africa win.
That summary of the game at the very end of the match. I hadn't noticed that. Thanks for alerting me.
Yeah,
I would have been sprawled on the sofa, either crying or something else.
indeed.
Carl Herbert confirms, "Yes, I am a Kiwi living in San Francisco, hoping for a double victory for New Zealand." The test win was fantastic.
Well, I watched the highlights of the fourth day this morning, and what a test! What a brilliant test! I mean, I think I looked at the score on that fourth day at one point and saw that India were 377 for 3. And I've been saying on our Guerrilla Does Everything WhatsApp group that India are still going to win this, and I've said that after the first day. And possibly they should have done, really, having got into that position. Then when I found out they were all out for 462, I was amazed.
The new ball made a huge difference for New Zealand.
It did, but again, I felt like India played a few really poor shots as they did in the first innings. I think they got themselves out quite a bit. I mean, the way they're playing. Apart from that first innings, the 46. I mean, it's almost like next summer in England we're going to have 2 Bazball teams against each other.
I'm afeared for Australia this summer because it's going to be wonderful to watch. I'm really looking forward to it.
I mean, the quality of Test cricket, or maybe not the quality, but the excitement of Test cricket at the moment is just incredibly good, incredibly
It's
high.
a wonderful time to be a cricket fan, and isn't this how it should be? That the white ball stuff is a little bit of a side entertainment in between great cricket. As the final resumes, I've got a little bit of a stuttering screen. Hopefully it'll sort itself out. But Nadine de Klerk's into the bowling attack, and that was a dot ball.
Again, she's picked up 3 wickets. She's replacing Cap, who's presumably now bowled 3 overs. That's one
I
in.
believe that's correct.
Ooh.
Yeah, this one is gonna be a big LBW shot. I think it's a bit high, isn't it?
Well, she's a long way back on her stumps, I would say.
The fielders are suggesting a bit uppish.
They've got two reviews, and in the end,
They're
Wolvart
very
decides
good.
that she will go for it. So I think that's an interesting one. It's certainly straight enough.
Was that definitely out?
I don't know.
And it's Sophie Devine. This would be a big wicket. Really big wicket. Let's see, is it? She's got really
such a
front
key
on. Yeah, it might just be height, mightn't it? There's no edge.
It's cleared, just about cleared the pads.
Yeah, it might be too high. I think it's going to be too high.
Although she's camped on the crease.
It's hard to see which pad it's hit foot, whether it's hit her front leg or her back leg first. If it's hit her back leg on the inside of the thigh, then she could be in danger. But if it's hit the pad, the front foot pad, she'll probably get away with it.
Yeah, the one leg is bent, depending on which one. Ooh, hello.
It's hitting! It's hitting!
Oh,
there you go,
review.
top of the leg stump. Wow, what a review
Wow.
that is. That is very much out, I'm afraid to say, from a New Zealand perspective. A massive wicket. And off goes Sophie Devine.
So Richard's taking over from Shelley here.
One does one's
Then
best.
he waddled away, waddle, waddle.
She didn't get a duck. That is the duck jingle, but she did only get 6 from 10. And de
Yeah,
Klerk
well
has
done
struck.
to Nadine de Klerk. So far, no runs conceded and a wicket in her very young spell. And I was foxed there by the height at which it struck the batter, but of course she did have her leg bent right in front of the wickets and pretty much behind the crease.
She's
trying
not
to paddle it round.
She's not a small woman either, is she? I mean, she's got, looks certainly quite tall. I don't know what her actual height is, but she looks as if she might be around 5'10" or something like that. These ones on height, sometimes you look at them and you think there's no way that's going over, and it is. And then other times you think that must be going over, and it isn't. So,
Yeah.
it is.
The problem is we do tend to automatically sometimes take the pads as a reference, and there are pads and there are pads.
Well, that's true. That's true.
And the stumps are always the same height.
That is absolutely true too. New batsman, batswoman, batter.
Oh, here comes the darling of the Northern District team, Brooke Halliday.
Brooke Halliday is going to have to wait another ball to get off the mark. First left-hander we've seen, and this one is just played nicely away to point in traditional fashion with a straight bat. No run.
We have another super chat from Brian in Brisbane, which is not all good news. He sent us another $2 and says, "Bugger, Jason's medicinal red is delayed, maybe 4 p.m.
God,
This one is down the leg side, would have been a wide. Halliday just gets some bat on it and helps it on its way down towards the boundary where it is fetched. They're going to get 3.
yeah, you would say so. Yeah, it's an interesting one. She was so far back on her. Back in her crease, wasn't she? She was in there. I mean, de Klerk, look at the delight, leaping around when that came up on the screen. Brilliant wicket for South Africa.
I guess the other thing is there's not a lot of bounce in this wicket, so it wasn't lifting a lot.
Yeah, that's the only thing, isn't it? There's not a great deal of bounce in this wicket.
So Kerr back on strike. Here is de Klerk, and it's just bunted away into the vacant space. On the onside, there'll be an easy single.
Well, they've come back pretty well into this game, I think. New Zealand, South Africa.
Yeah, it's finally poised though. But now we are going to get the test of the middle orders because
Yeah.
middle orders being exposed quite early on.
And that's the problem in T20 is that often, the middle or lower middle order doesn't get a lot of cricket.
Oh, that's very wide and very slow and very low by de Klerk. Probably would have been a wide had it been left alone, but Halliday slaps at it and succeeds only in finding point. So it's a dot ball, and de Klerk will say thank you very much. 74 for 3 after 11.
Oh dear. Okay, so Carl confirms, Parrot Badshaw confirms his check. The Countess is 2 ranks below a Duchess. And Hattie says, well, I went down to Countess's. Duchess is just below Queen. She didn't want to be feeling above her station. And she says she's going back to Grand Duchess for the men's test. And Shelley's saying basically it's her wicket still. Very much still here, even though it's only in the chat.
I'm a little bit worried that after this game, there's no cricket for 3 days. of any sort, as far as I'm aware.
We are being sported at the moment.
Chef.
Wait a minute, South Africa Bangladesh is starting very, very soon.
Oh,
Probably
right.
I think tomorrow, if I'm not
What, on a
mistaken.
Monday?
And then, well,
And the Sheffield Shield is on at the moment, Hendo. You can
Yeah, but
watch
it's that's in the middle of the night for me, isn't it?
that's a pity.
Yeah.
New South Wales are fielding a half-test side at the moment.
Sunday loose into the attack. It's straight and quite full. There's a full-blooded drive from Kerr, but the bowler does the fielding.
Well bowled. It was so tempting.
Yeah, it just needed placing, really.
And that's one of the problems just come up, and I'll bring you that in a minute.
As Kerr comes down the wicket and plays it gently into the space on the onside. The boundary fielder comes in and stops one turning into two.
Well, we just saw 33 balls is now 34 balls since the last boundary. So what's that? That's the best part of 6 overs without a boundary. So New Zealand really being restricted to what they can run between the wickets at the moment, and they just need a little bit of impetus, don't they? I mean, Halliday can hit a long ball, so maybe she's the one to get them going.
Loose comes around the wicket to the left-handed Halliday, pulls it away for a single into the onside. Yeah, I mean, the good news is, and it was all part of the plan for New Zealand, they do have a platform. There's some good work being done at the top.
I mean, they've got to be looking at 130, haven't they? I mean, that's a minimum, I think, to beat this South African side. I think we said that the average in this tournament in Dubai is 126 batting first.
Down the wicket comes Kerr, and there'll be just one more run down to log on. They're not trying for boundaries at the moment. I suppose 6 and over in singles will be all right with the start they've got for a little while. They can't afford to get too deep into the tail, you would imagine.
Yeah, don't want to give wickets away, any more wickets away really in the next 2 or 3 overs.
Reverse sweep from Halliday, top edge, but there's no one there because it goes behind the wicketkeeper, and Mlaba does the fielding. I get back for a second, so no longer dealing in only singles.
Is it my imagination, or I've always liked Mlaba, but does she look? Has she really improved her fitness? She looks like she's totally on the ball in the field or with the ball now.
Here's loose, conventionally swept by Halliday, who frustrated to find out has picked out a fielder, so no run there. Not too sure about Mlaba. Couldn't say. I'm a relative newcomer to her game, but somebody out there will know. Anything on your side, Jezza?
Yes, indeed. Muttley is a tip for Hendo about waiting for the cricket. He says, just have an afternoon nap the day before.
Well, do you know, Muttley, I can't. I have terrible trouble with sleep. I'm always tired, unfortunately, but I'm never, very rarely able to actually sleep for very long, which is a bit of a bind, really. But there you go.
That is unfortunate. I can confirm South Africa's men's test side are playing tomorrow in Bangladesh.
Excellent.
I suspect it doesn't matter that it's a Monday. There'll probably be no one there.
True.
It's unfortunately the lowest citizens of the test universe, sadly.
Is it what sort of squad is it?
I'll have a look in a minute. So Mlaba is bowling again, back into the attack for a third over. It's going to be a dot ball. Just trying to remember. I know Temba Bavuma's injured for the first test, if memory serves.
Did see that. Yeah.
Malaba's getting ready to go again to Kerr. Gives it a good old heave straight back down to long on, and there'll be one more run to the total. I did have a good look through the press release when the squad was announced, but the actual team I haven't seen yet. I don't know if it's been announced. But most of the people you'd expect to be in the squad are there if memory serves.
So it's a strong South African team, really, not a sort of kind of reserve test that
it's not what we sent to New Zealand.
Yeah.
There might be a couple of. This one is might just rake the boundary down as Halliday comes down the wicket. No, it's going to be roped in. That ball really ran out of steam.
It did. That was
had
weird.
a good chance there for finding the ropes at deep point, but she's going to have to settle for 2. It was well hit. She's keeping up with the tradition in this innings of moving around the crease a lot. She charged the bowler there.
Well, you have to say slow pitch and slow outfield. That really should have gone for 4, shouldn't it? It just, as you said, it pulled up.
And slowly bowled by Malaba. I was just going to say, you can't bowl it slow enough on this wicket. And it goes way up into the air and lands on the edge of the circle on the leg side, but there's no one there. So, I think that was just the one in amongst all that chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always those moments where someone's being rested or someone's injured, which is annoying, because I just don't understand. Resting Test cricket should be planned better, that no one has to be rested, but that's another story. Malaba comes in once more. This one is played uppishly into the onside, but that's no problem because there's no one there for miles and miles and miles. The boundary rider comes in and keeps it down to 1.
It's a struggle, isn't it? I mean, it's not great watching at the moment, is it? 43 balls since the last boundary.
That's why we're talking about Test cricket.
Indeed.
There's so much of it around. Malaba once again. This one is helped into the onside with the spin by Halliday. 2 fielders converge on it. That'll be just the 1.
Yeah, I think they've got to push these fielders a little bit and try and make some mistakes there. They did run very well in the first few overs, Bates and Plimmer, and now they're just opting for the one where they might be looking to put pressure on the outfielders and pick up 2s where they can.
Yeah, Halliday's looked quite confident since coming, and you have to say there's been no sign of nerves from the Kiwis. It's almost as though they've been given license from ball 1. Go out there, dance around, premeditate everything, and see if you can get away with it. And if the result is 85 for 3 after 13, you'd have to say probably, barring the wickets column, at least as good as you would expect by standing on the crease and playing a more conventionally. Sorry, I didn't realise it was the end of the over. Carry on, Miss.
Lucky Six has got some advanced advice for you here, Hendo. He says, drink 2 litres of port and you'll sleep for 14 hours. So I've heard.
I don't think I've ever drunk
Carl
port.
Herbert says the pitch is looking awfully slow. It is, and the very slow bowling makes it look even slower. Muttley says, I know the always tired feeling. I'm groggy most of the days.
No, that
Loose
feeling.
continues. It is driven into the onside. Oh, they do think about pushing for 2, and they decide to push for 2 after a moment's hesitation. So they have exploited that space a little bit better this time and snuck a second. How will South Africa respond on this? There's no real attack in terms of catching fielders at the moment. They're giving them the ones. Ooh. A reverse swept now this time by Halliday, who once again picks up the fielder. Has done that a few times, actually, since coming to the wicket in these 11 balls.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how many potential spin bowlers South Africa have got, but you wouldn't see them going back to pace if they can possibly avoid it.
This one is launched into the sky in the direction of long on. There's a slight fumble there by Nadine de Klerk, but Halliday will get 1 for her troubles.
It looks like they've got some very heavy dew already.
I was wondering about that, yeah, because they've got the towels out, haven't they? I think that's probably what's slowing the outfield down so much.
Yeah.
Well, that is quite a dramatic change in conditions if it hasn't been an issue in the tournament so far, and then suddenly you've got dew in the final. Well, hello. Another stock standard single down to long on. Tryonder's the fielding.
Yes, it's rather detracting from the spectacle a bit, isn't it? I'm afraid to say. I mean, we all know that pitches in the UAE tend to be slow. Yeah. I'm not sure they would have been any quicker in Bangladesh, where this tournament was supposed to be played.
Loose. Halliday charges up for a big one and puts it off. Beats the diving fielder for one of these.
It's the first one for, I don't know, eons.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
But you still managed to find the jingle, Hinder.
I did indeed. It took a little bit of a while. But this is Halliday, isn't she? She's got a little bit of power. So if anyone's going to reach the boundary, it's going to be her. But you don't think people are going to be able to hit straight for 4? You have to cross bat it slightly, don't you, to get that bottom hand in.
Well, the
same shot again.
70 metres. Wow.
A little bit straighter, and another costly fielding error as de Klerk just jumps over the top of it. And let's go for another.
It's like buses.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
2 in a row.
Well, I think we've almost up to about 10 runs now that South Africa have conceded on fielding errors alone. There's been two ones that have been turned to fours so far.
And all those wides have been
that is another story. There was a no ball at least once up at the front.
Yeah, so
3 and 14.
Hello world, just passing through. Why won't New Zealand go harder? Well, they just did. And Brown in Brisbane says, good tip. As an ex-Air Force man, I can confirm the sleep properties of thought. And then Lockie says, away you wake up is always a surprise.
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know that I fancy, as someone who once slept in the hedge, I don't know that I want to do that again.
Okay, New Zealand are continuing to go harder as de Klerk has, what was nearly an embarrassing fumble again on the boundary. They will just get the 2.
Yeah,
they've suddenly decided to open their shoulders.
It's just
both bowlers.
It's just a confidence thing, isn't it? And a momentum thing. You get a couple of boundaries, and suddenly, you just keep going a little bit. And Halliday, 21 off 14 balls? That's a really good return so far.
New Zealand on the verge of their 100 now, and it's a full, very floaty one from de Klerk outside off stump, driven out into the deep. The sweeper will do the tidying up, and that's the 100 for New Zealand.
Yeah, very good acceleration here.
Just to complete the chat on Test cricket, because this is getting a bit more interesting now. But we will have towards the back end of the week, if South Africa don't get cleaned up in 2 or 3 days, or vice versa, we'll have 3 parallel Test matches going on around the world. Actually, all in the subcontinent at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. Although, I like them to spread them out so I can watch all of them rather than have them on the same time.
It's not sensible from a time zone perspective.
No.
It's short and wide, but de Klerk, and Halliday has to reach for it. Once again, picks out Bosch at point.
Yeah, she's done that twice now. She could have let those balls go and they would have been wides, but she's laid bad on it. But she got it too low on the bat to actually pierce the inner field.
Yeah, sometimes when it's so wide, you do need to use your feet to get over to it a little bit. Bowls wide, delivers wide, does de Klerk, and this one has pierced the gap behind point, gone for 4.
Beautiful timing.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
And of course, it's de Klerk who's got a little bit more pace. I mean, she's not a spinner. She's not rapid. And she's bowling little cutters by the looks of things, but that was beautifully timed by Halliday.
Even though it's short, it's not getting up. It's an absolute invitation for any batter. Just play that late and away you go. This one is straighter, but onto the pads. There's just help into the leg side. There's again no one there. The bowler has to do her own fielding. But they'll just get the one. One to come in the over still.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, she's bowling what you would say was medium pace. She's coming off a long run, but that was only 55 miles per hour, and it was a no ball. I mean, 55. You get spinners bowling at 55 miles an hour. Has she gone? Is it the return crease? She's gone.
Yes. Right.
There you go. She went a little bit wide on the crease. It is a no ball, so it is a free hit, which Amelia Kerr had earlier as well. She had a free hit and she got bowled, but survived obviously because you can't be out on a free hit.
Well, there absolutely needs to be a wicket soon if you're South Africa. Not going to be on this delivery unless there's a run out, but the free hit just clears the... Yeah, it's going to go for 4 actually. Cleared the inner ring.
This is good from New Zealand, really good. They've just stepped up the pace at the right moment.
And South Africa's fielding and bowling has both been pretty poor in my opinion.
Yes.
I don't know why they're giving them any pace at all.
No, absolutely.
And I don't know why we spent so much of the game following players down the leg side who were looking to play it down the leg side.
Well, actually, funnily enough, I think that showed the slowness of the pitch.
It's de Klerk. This one actually seems away a little bit. But it's going to be a rare dot ball to finish the over. In New Zealand, 110 for 3.
It's going
15. So
it's time for a change. Tony's going to take over on ball by ball. I was just going to say, to finish that thought, the ball was coming off the pitch so slowly that even though the New Zealand batsmen were going right outside leg stump, they ended up almost pulling everything, even when they were followed, weren't they, by the bowler, because they had that time. So it really is a very, very slow pitch. Anyway, Tony's going to come into the ball by ball chair. We're going to have a bit of Jason, and Rich is going to go on to summarising. 110 for 3 from 15, 5 overs remaining. Last 18 balls have brought 31 runs, 4 fours after a long wait for a boundary. And Messi has disappeared, and Tony is going to come into position. Richard, just fill in while Tony gets into the chair.
excellent. So it's going to be a new bowler in Ayabonga Kaka back into the attack. She's had 2 overs so far. Like everyone up front, came in for a bit of punishment. This is a massive full toss. It is slapped back at the bowler, who is unable to get a hand in the way of that. And they will cross for 1. And that's probably a good result from such a bad delivery. Tony, you're in the chair.
Oh, I'm in the chair. I'm enjoying this as well. Well, Millie Kerr, she's beaten her average for the tournament. She was averaging 23 up until today. She's gone storming past that in a bit of a flurry of boundaries. Just when they needed them, Kakar's in. That's flicked beautifully off her legs by Millie Kerr. Won't make it to the boundary. It's fielded at deep mid-wicket. And I think they will just take a single. Yes, they did bring Brooke Halliday back on to strike. Jason, I gather we've just had a delivery.
Oh.
Well, I'm hoping we have. He's just going to tell us about it.
We have.
Oh, what is it? What is it?
It is alcohol and
Milk.
nibbles.
Alcohol and nibbles. Fantastic. Kakar in. That's a full toss. Whipped. Flicked really by Brooke Halliday. Down to deep mid-wicket. She'll get a single. All singles so far in this over. 3 balls, 3 runs, 3 more to the score. New Zealand timing their acceleration just about right. They lost only their 2nd wicket in the tournament during the power play to South Africa here. That was who was that? That was Georgia Plymouth, wasn't it? They've since lost Susie Bates and Sophie Devine, but these two, as that one slapped hard, half stopped, but will make it down to the long off boundary, but where it's fielded by de Klerk.
I mean, technically that's a chance,
and it's
but it's very, very hard to call that.
Well, it was absolutely nailed in the umpire. The umpire was fearing for her life because it flicked up off the bowler's hand and nearly took poor old. I was trying to think of her name. That one's just worked down to
not Sue Redfern. The other one,
Claire Polisak. Claire Polisak from New South Wales is the other umpire. 2 runs there, out to a mid-wicket. So they've broken, Richard, the string of consecutive singles.
Oh, and there's a feeling that New Zealand are just ticking along here. It's all going exactly to plan.
I think you're just being a bit fatalist. This one is pulled away by the left-handed Brooke Halliday down to deep mid-wicket. Almost hit it too well. If she hadn't hit it quite so well, she probably could have got 2 for it. But she really nailed that. Fielded on the boundary, and thus a single. So it's 1 for 28 for Kakar, 117 for 3 New Zealand. They got 4 overs left. They should ease themselves comfortably past the par score for the tournament here at Dubai. And we can go to Jason, who's just been taking the nibbles and alcohol delivery.
Yep. Well, we've got the answer to the question, why won't New Zealand go harder? Because it's not the right time yet, and now it is.
Well, 4 overs left and 7 wickets in hand. You would really say it really is the right time.
And it's been an absolute gem of a little cameo so far from Brooke Halliday. I mean, 31 off 21. No one else has scored at anywhere close to this rate.
She has. She's
and
done
Amelia Kerr has just done the job she needed to, which is to hold the innings together once they'd lost Bates and Devine.
And just to add to the excitement, South Africa only have 12 minutes to bowl these last 4 overs.
Ooh, right. Well, there we go.
3 overs and 1 ball, technically.
Decent crowd too. We were saying we were worried. I've got to be honest. When we were just 10 minutes before the start, really. Marizan Cap's going to continue. She's coming around the wicket to the left-handed Brooke Halliday, who pulls her quite meterly, but again doesn't quite get hold of it. Down to mid-wicket, they'll take a single.
Oh,
was it a misfield? No,
well, the ball just died in the pitch as it was being thrown back because it did the bounce throw, and she managed to. And it's a no ball.
And it's another no ball. Oh my goodness me! Well,
There's been
these
a lot of those
extras.
kinds of moments.
These extras keep.
Over the line!
Piling up.
Smokey, you were over the line. That's a foul.
You can see the palpable sense of disappointment emanating from Marizan Cap, who is not impressed at this at all.
Was it another back foot no ball?
It is.
It was a back foot no ball.
Right
yeah,
on the line.
Right, in comes Cap. That one's flicked, well, up and over where a short extra would have been, out to longer extra. They'll only get a single for it with the free hit. So, not maximum damage by any manner of means, just a single from that free hit. It'll bring Brooke Halliday 32 off 22 for Brooke Halliday, the 28-year-old from Hamilton.
Kerr's done a job again. Get off strike, get Brooke Halliday on.
Yeah, highest score so far.
These two have rotated the strike beautifully.
Oh, they have been superb.
Their scores have, their worms have just gone together.
That sounds weird, but that one's beautifully inside out, driven away through extra cover by Halliday. She should come back for 2.
A lot of things sound weird to people who don't understand cricketing parlance.
Indeed, well, the coming together of worms, it definitely sounds weird whether you're talking cricket or anything else, to be honest. Horticulture, agriculture, gardens, cricket. The worm that turned. What was that? Oh, that was the 2 Ronnies, wasn't it?
It was the 2 Ronnies.
That was a lovely cover drive, but it's not the quickest of outfield. That one is muscled away down to deep mid wicket again by Halliday. Just a single for her this time, but she's going along. No, what about 1.5 a ball? 35 off 24 for her. So it's Halliday lack of intent. I don't know why it would say that. That seems harsh. She's been motoring along like a demon.
There's a very odd bit of television production we've just seen.
Right, this one is pulled by Millie Kerr this time. But again, there's a fielder on the mid-wicket boundary with just a single. 124 for 3. The run rate's 7.5. So with that, what did I say? The average first 127.
At that rate would get you 150.
So, well, 150. Remember, both South Africa and New Zealand have got scores of 160 and 166. I can't remember who got which. Against an average first innings score of 127 in Dubai. So New Zealand set fair to breeze past that. That's full. That's beautifully slower ball flighted. Not a wide, because although it was on the leg side of the left-handed Halliday, it kind of went between her bat and pads as well.
Inside her and the wicket, yeah. So it can't be by definition.
By Sinale Jafta. Have I got her name right? I think I have. I think she got a bat on it as well, didn't she? So jabbed the bat down. Right, Marizan Cap round the wicket to the left-hander, who flicks this beautifully up, but this again. It's a bit of a rinse and repeat. It's down to de Klerk, who's at deep mid-wicket, and once more it'll be a single. Halliday should keep the strike. She's moved on to 36 from her 26. At the end of 17, it's 125 for 3, 2 south of that average first innings score for the tournament thus far.
Enrique Mentor says, I'm loving it, New Zealand. I was born in South Africa, but I do not support any South African sport.
Living in South Africa, did you say?
Born.
Oh, born in South Africa. Okay.
He's 100% All Black Rugby and Kiwi Black Cap supporter.
Well, I suppose somebody has to be.
Yep. And David Darrell sort of prods at the South African psyche. He says, is that choking sounds I hear from South Africa?
A bit early to say that.
Yeah, you've got to have a Jeffrey Walcott. You've got to bat and bowl on this wicket before.
Let's try. I'm going to be back into the attack. And she's left arm. That's gone straight up in the air. Is there anyone underneath it? It isn't, it's going to drop safe. It was pretty much straight down the ground. Plopped about 3/4 length, mid-off and mid-on converged. Neither could get there, and it'll add 2 more to the score.
Also, call me a prophet of doom, but I feel like the next one that goes up is going to get dropped. The kind of day South Africa are having in the field.
Well, catching at this ground has been notoriously difficult. Just about everyone's fallen foul of the ring of fire lights that go around this ground. That has gone up in the air. It is going to be taken. Richard, hang your head, Richard Asher. That was straight down the throat, a deep backward square. It was taken as easy as you like, and Brooke Halliday's aggressive knock has come to an end. She's out for 38, just slightly short of a length. Down onto one knee she went, hauled it down to deep backward square, where it was absolutely convincingly taken. Tryon, I beg her pardon, has her wicket, and the catch by Bosch. 74 not out for her, don't forget. Top score of the tournament so far. She's proven she's got a safe old pair of hands as well when she needed them.
Oh yeah,
127 for 4. I think it's pretty even, Richard.
Well, I mean, now it really is the test of now we're properly into what has New Zealand got when they're 4 down. If we could start tumbling and hurry, and it doesn't take long, 127, it might be, well, it could go either way from here still. You've got Kerr, who's properly in, but what's she going to get at the other end?
Well, Maddie Green is going to have to know.
Let's just let's jingle the wicket.
After you've gone,
and here's the new batter.
this is where Maddie Green feels out in the sun.
She's off onto the back foot, flicks it a little uppishly down to the 45. The throw comes in, but I think that's safely over.
They're going to go for umpire's review on this, potentially.
Yep. They are going to have an umpire's review. You're absolutely right.
But no one's looking to in that mode.
It's a good throw, and I think it was straight into the stumps, wasn't it? It was a superb throw.
Yeah, she's halfway through the crease by the time the bails are broken.
But I think why they're even looking, I don't know. It never looked out to me. But I think the most important thing was the psychology of keeping pressure on these two batters.
Yeah, and showing your teammates
at the
how
crease.
to field.
Absolutely right. Yeah, fielding hasn't been the strongest suit of the tournament by and large, from what I've seen of it. That's good footwork by Millie Kerr. Just a skip down, but all she can do is push it to long on and take a single.
I mean, we're looking at the wicket again from of Halliday, and it was very well bowled by Tryon, who slowed up the ball and made her wait for it a long time to put power in.
Again, good footwork. It's flipped up. Combination of bat and pad, I think. Two fielders converge. They still take a single, though. Score moves on to 129 for 4. 2 balls left of the 18th over. Past, not well past that average. That really was a first-rate catch. Forget everything you've heard about the ring of fire lights making it difficult. That was made to look incredibly easy. That's short. There's a horrible ball, and it's muscled away by Millie Kerr, but down to deep mid-wicket again. Once again, a single. It's frustrating, Richard. They're getting hold of these shots and just finding fielders all the time.
Yeah, but I suppose Kerr will be happy to have, I believe, nicked the bowling. No, not.
Well, it's the end of the over. It's
the end of the over.
131 for 4. 2 overs
He did
left.
nick the bowling.
Malaba, whose throw from the 45 it was that caused that review just now, although not out. She's roughing up her hands. And Jason is loosening his slightly dodgy vocal cords.
Lockie says, if you finish slow with 7 wickets down, you deserve a kick in the scrunch. Scrunch? I don't think you meant scrunch, but we'll take it.
Right. Malaba, in she comes. That's short and pulled high, pulled handsome. One bounce over deep mid-wicket. Millie Kerr opens her shoulders, launches that, and it's one of these.
And if you kids can't listen, then you bound to see the way you get shot for crossing a boundary,
And Shelley Beck is exhorting her compatriots on our stream. She says, "Come on, girls, let's go!"
I've got to be honest. Or we'll just wait for Malaba, who's around the wicket, down the track. Has Millie Kerr got enough of this? You bet your life she has. It was between long off and deep extra cover. It didn't matter. Neither were going to get there. It's 4 more.
There's not one boy for me, I must have 2 or 3, I need 4.
2 consecutive boundaries, just what New Zealand need, just what South Africa don't need. Yeah, I was trying very, very hard when we were putting together the team for your Gorilla team for this final. Right? A, for women, and B, South Africa and New Zealand representation. That one is just off the back foot, but straight to cover, and no run on this occasion. So we ticked 2 boxes.
Yeah, we don't have any Kiwi women.
One of which we
club,
ticked in one package for 2. So we got 2 South Africans, one of whom is also a woman. But that one is down the ground, just another single. 140 for 4. Couldn't find any Kiwis who were wanted to do it. Real shame.
We have the same problem with our Vienna Cricket Club.
Do you?
No Kiwis. We don't know where they are. Actually, hardly any Aussies. Disappeared. Apparently they only play professional cricket, not club cricket.
Well, I hope you've got some Austrians.
The
other type of Aussies.
Round she comes. That's launched high by Millie Kerr. She got enough of this. No, she's taken again. Forget everything you heard about how difficult the catching is, because that was beautifully held at deep mid-wicket. Malaba has another one. It's Millie Kerr who finally, her knock comes to an end. A very decent 43 off 38 for her. Just perhaps held back a little bit by Malaba. Millie Kerr tried but didn't get as much as she wanted, and down on one knee, taken, and double fist pump from Malaba, not surprisingly. The end of Millie Kerr
takes the catch again, but yeah, that's a really key wicket at this stage with 7 balls still to come.
Yeah, but no, it's hard to say anything wrong about Millie Kerr's innings, because she's done the job she was asked to do, which is to hold the innings together. No, getting out in the last 9-10 balls is no disgrace in that respect.
Absolutely not. But now South Africa will be G'd up.
Who was it who took the catch? Was that Bosch again?
Tamsin Brits.
Brits.
Oh, Brits. Okay. We shall be back out opening the batting before too much longer, I think, if I'm right. It's Izzy Gaze, wicket-keeper, coming in at 7. She's got just the 1 ball to face, which she drives. She may possibly not come back for 2, so she comes straight in, pinches the strike. But as Green's also only on 1, they're on 1 apiece. It's 142 for 5 after 19, going into the last over. Jason, who's with us?
Shelley says, "That's the way, ladies. Go RSA." Enrique Mentor says, "I will stay very positive for New Zealand today. It will be good revenge on SA ladies from Kiwis, seeing that the All Blacks lost their Rugby World Cup in last October."
Yeah.
That's a long time to hold a grudge, really.
Well, it is rather. It's very international. Very international character is.
You understand the nature of the South Africa All Blacks rugby rivalry? Not a long time.
No, quite.
Not a long time. We can go decades.
Kaka in. That's a beautiful, slower Yorker. They'll take a single though. So well done, Isabella Gay. She's from Haarlem, in the Netherlands, before moving to New Zealand via Singapore and various other places, and Hong Kong, I think.
I had my CD collection stolen in Haarlem in around 2006.
Haarlem, as in Haarlem in the Netherlands.
In the Netherlands, yeah.
Not
HAA.
Right, that's down leg. That should be a wide.
What have you done that for?
Tryon's getting out. She'll get there. She's gone after it, taking a big chunk of Dubai turf with it as
demolished
well.
It.
But that should be a wide and 2 added to score, so 2 wides.
That's not just a divot, that is a tractor mark.
Well, it is. Yeah, she wasn't going to. She was certainly going to get to it. She was very determined, bustly run that she had after. It's 146 for 5. Last 19 balls of 29 runs, 2 wickets, 2 fours, no sixes. So they want to be well past 150. That should be at least one of them. They might come back for 2. No, it's just a bit inside edgy, out by Gaze towards mid-on. Gaze, the international jet-setting Gaze.
Given the amount of time left in the match, I was surprised that they didn't promote Leah Tahuhu to try and smack a few balls, because he's a stronger hitter, I think, than either of these two.
Kaka in. Gaze drives straight on the bounce to extra cover, though. Don't think they did manage to take a single, did they, Richard?
No.
Well, it says that.
Oh, yes, they did.
Yeah, I think they did. Yeah, it was
now.
very sharp running. She did make.
I think. Might be at the stage now where they're just going to risk it.
Well, I think they've got to, and they will have been very well run. She made a decent knock to push New Zealand to a score against in the semi-final. Made 20 not out there. That's clipped and judged beautifully. A little 7-iron out towards deep mid-wicket. The throw comes in. It's misfielded by Kakar at the bowler's end. It's a powerful throw from who was that put in the throw?
Might have been Cap. These bounce throws are really skimming up off. No, it's not Cap.
It did.
But the bounce throws are really taking
off a used wicket.
Yeah.
And poor old Kakar, had it been a bit lower and with less bounce, it might have been a wicket. 2 balls left. 150 is up for New Zealand. That's a full toss. It's launched all the way. What more could you possibly want at this stage if you're New Zealand, with 2 balls left of the innings, but a full toss that you can launch over deep mid-wicket? And it is indeed one of these. Maddie Green, I mean, you couldn't have gift-wrapped a better opportunity for her, really, could you?
First six of the
final over from
First 6 of the final. Well, this should be the last ball. Kakar in. That's launched. It's hit high. Is it hit long enough? Is it going to be a wicket off the last ball? It is. It's.
Was that dropped?
That's dropped, I think.
Oh, did she drop it? No, I thought she took it.
Well, talk about setting the tone. Going into the change room. Talk about setting the tone.
Well, there we go.
It's not going to matter, really. I mean, there's a couple of runs.
It's the only real drop of the innings. But I don't think you can count the caught and bowled, which probably would have nearly took the umpire's head off. But it means that South Africa will need 159 to win. It's 158. Well ahead of the average score for New Zealand. I think, Richard, who will be the happier, do you think?
Oh, definitely the Kiwis, I'd say. Everything went to plan for them. South Africa, interestingly, come together right away for a huddle.
And it's interesting to see who is the one doing the strong word speaking, which is Mauzan Cap.
Yep.
Yeah, experience is speaking there.
Well, a quick reminder for you of how things have transpired. The toss was won by South Africa. They wanted to bowl. New Zealand have powered themselves to 158 for 5. Susie Bates 32, bowled by Malaba. Georgia Plimmer, only the second wicket to fall in the power play for New Zealand all tournament thus far, but she went for 9. Caught loose, bowled Kakar. Millie Kerr, not the quickest to knocks, but 43 off 38, head of a runner ball. She saw New Zealand most of the way home before she was caught in the deep. Sophie Devine didn't stay for so long. She was LBW de Klerk. Brooke Halliday, she did pretty well, 38 off 28, and she powered along as well to up that scoring rate. Maddie Green hit that 6 near the end, as she had done towards the end of the semi-final as well. And Isabella Gaze, the other not out batsman, the wicket keeper, 3 off 3, so 158 for 5. A chase of 159 if South Africa are going to grab the glory. Jason?
Well, it's a competitive score now. We did worry a little bit when they got sort of becalmed in the middle overs, from about overs 6 to about overs 12. But Brooke Halliday came in and paid a really nice little cameo innings to really inject some impetus into the scoring, and also Millie Kerr batted all the way through, batted very correctly, without too much risk, scoring to run a ball, and latterly just got a little bit of a move on.
Well, she did, and Brooke Halliday can strike it. I think it's just.
I think this is
bit
right
too
on
close
the
to call.
Yeah, it's right on the line. This one. It looks like it's not the easiest pitch to get in on and play against slow bowling, but there is very little margin for error either. No, if the bowlers don't bowl well, and I thought South Africa bowled okay, they didn't field okay.
Well, only one catch went down. There was a couple of bits of
ground
Scottish goalkeeping.
There was ground fielding was a bit scratchy on occasions.
Let's have a look.
Yeah, and
at
I would have liked to have
results.
seen them vary the bowling a little bit more. Maybe a bit more outside off stump, a bit more full and wide outside off, just to see if that produced anything.
It was very much attack the leg stump and deny the room plan for all the bowlers, and they got caught quite a lot of balls just missing the leg stump and going down the leg side, being wided.
It's a pretty low total.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's a pretty low total they had to chase against West Indies. And they cruised that in Dubai by 10 wickets, didn't they? They were only chasing 119 to win. They got that okay. They lost to England in Sharjah, 124 for 6, so they fell short. They thumped Scotland with 166. They beat Bangladesh by 7 wickets. Only needed to score 107. And then, of course, in the semi-final against Australia, 135 for 2. They only needed all they could score because they were set 135 to win. So they are going to have to, apart from that 166, they're going to have to, I think, their second highest total of the tournament, aren't they, Richard? If they're going to pull it off, South Africa.
Sorry, I was in the middle of a coughing and sneezing fit. My
oh dear,
my mid-match ritual at the moment. Yeah, I haven't quite shaken off the cold yet. But you were saying it's a big chase by the context of this.
Yes, not quite as succinctly as that, but yes, that is precisely what I was saying. Yes,
that is the essence of it. Yeah,
it's their second highest score in the tournament. They're going to have to score, I think, if they're going to be successful.
Yeah, and I think we'll know by the end of I think we'll know fairly well by the end of 6 overs if they've got a chance, at least, or not. I think they could lose it up front.
Yeah, Daniel Kruger says it's a competitive score. Game on! And Carl Herbert also says 158 is very defendable with New Zealand's bowling attack.
Yep, I go along. But was it against Australia that the South African opening pair absolutely bullied their way to the first
interesting
opening stand?
to think how many they would have made. They probably would have made that score easily had they not got the runs ahead of time in the semi-final. So they have got that they can hang their hats on.
Well, yeah, let me see, who was it? It was Bosch 74 and Laura Wolfhart 42. So those two got them most of the way against Australia, didn't they, in the
Brits
chase
got them
there.
started as well. So they all come into this chase with a good feeling about their batting.
Yeah, I mean, you sense a couple of early wickets, and the whole event will have a slightly different feel. They need to kind of replicate what New Zealand did. Again, they went through the power play pretty well. Had 50 plus on the board. Where were New Zealand in the power play? I think they were 43 for 1.
43, yeah.
But again, they'd only lost the 1 wicket, so they had a platform on which they could build. Then they had a period of about 5 or 6 overs where everything seemed to slow down quite dramatically, as you might expect it to after the power play. But they finished particularly well.
Well, they got half their runs in the last 8 overs.
Yeah, they did.
In fact, last 7 overs perhaps.
So we should take a very short break. It's almost likely to be next to no break at all, I think.
I can stock up on tissues, though.
You can stock up on tissues. I'm going to look
blow my nose.
To blow your nose? Have you gone all northern, lad? Where did that come from, son?
Some things just have to be said northern, don't they?
Well, I don't know. I didn't know blowing your nose was one of them. Right,
in my world.
In your world, okay.
It's an odd place.
Where are we? Let's have a look.
We might just get the Tuttle to this before they're back out again.
Yeah, I wonder if we're actually to hell with it. Let's not bother. Let's just stay straight on, shall we?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to ask Richard a question about South Africa's player selection strategy over the last couple of years, in particular jettisoning of Lizelle Lee and the changes at the top of the order. Do you think it's worked if they get to the final and win it?
Sorry, Jason, I was attending to some other bits and bobs. What was the question?
Oh, the question was for Richard predominantly, because South Africa had some fairly experienced players in their order, like Lizelle Lee and there's one other player I will remember in a minute, that they chose not to pick for a year or so up until the World Cup. And no, you can argue it was the right decision to because they made the final.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Don't forget, this final is literally the final no one expected. Everything was pointing to Australia probably playing England.
Or India.
I think cricket's happier and the world is better because you'll have a new name on the trophy. South Africa, you know, they were close but not close enough in was it their home? Was it at home? It was in Newlands, wasn't it, in last year, that they didn't quite get over the line against Australia. They'll feel that they're owed it. It'll just be a good. But both sides have basically done everything pretty well. I think South Africa possibly shade it in batting power. I think New Zealand perhaps slightly deeper, and they've obviously got a fantastic bowling attack. So they're well matched sides. They
are. Maybe it's going to come down to the fielding that's going to be the difference.
Yeah, and it's a lot of excuses made for the Dubai under lights has created problems. We've seen South Africa was struggling a little bit with the dew and the trying to keep the ball dry.
Well, I think
it's not going to get any better, is it, as the evening wears on? I don't think.
There's a factor that maybe has come into play, which I hadn't really thought about beforehand, which this pitch seems very sort of loose, the outfield, because it's cutting up quite a lot when they run across it, and therefore the ground underneath you may be not quite as secure as you might have anticipated before the tournament started.
Yep, no, very true. New Zealand, of course, do have the tournament's top wicket taker in Millie Kerr. She's got 12 so far at a ridiculously low average. She's got 12 at just over 7, which is just quite crazy.
I see Jeremy Henderson has joined us from the cave.
Messer should be with us. Who's coming back?
Just to let you know that the bookies have
Richard.
New Zealand at very short price favourites for this.
Okay, all right.
South Africa over 2-1 against. So yeah.
We should be rejoined by Richard any moment now, which is hopefully I'll get bumped out the way. Jason, I think you can take a breather, can't you?
Yes, for 5 overs.
For 5. Yeah, you don't really much of a breather, I'm afraid.
Well, you are actually under instructions from Brian in Brisbane to get some of that
red wine and down my neck, I know.
Well,
but I had a lot of gin last night, so I'm trying to sober up.
I'll water it down with some
as
wine.
ever. Yeah. I don't know why that is the problem. Why are we seeing that? Richard, are you there?
I'm back.
Yeah. Oh no, I know why. Hold on. Yeah. I knew something.
I'm back.
He has returned. That's better. We've sorted out the picture. South Africa.
So
Laura Wurvaart is there. 190 runs in 6 innings at an average of nearly 48 for her. Let's give her a little jingle. Here she is.
Laura Wurvaart, look in the part. Used to sing a bit in high school, and if she had this shitty ass jingle, she'd be embarrassed about it all.
And she'll be opening with.
Well, there's a player who is a shit, goes by the name of Tasman Briss. Offense batting sometimes keeps runs made with reverse sweeps.
So they're going to need to go at about 7 to the over, if my maths is correct, just to get parity on that power play.
Try 8.
Right, first ball. Right on middle stump from Meyer and defended straight to mid-on. And it's a dot ball to start with.
Yeah, 8 would be better. I'll get them 48. 8 times 6 is 48, isn't it?
Yes, Laura Wolfhard, top scorer in the tournament, 190 runs. She's, mind you, Tamsin Brits is also the second top scorer with 170. So the power is very much up top. That's evidenced by that, which is driven out to extra cover. The first runs on the board. One
nice back
without
foot, straight
loss.
batted drive there to get going.
Yeah, beautifully done. I haven't jingled up our bowler yet, have I? I should do that in just a moment. One without loss so far. We've only had the 2 deliveries, 159 the total that is being chased. It's Rosemary Mayer from Napier who's bowling. That's thumped into the pad, but going down wide of leg stump. It's another dot ball. Let's jingle up Rosemary Mayer. Here she is.
Rosemary Mayer. Her name's quite rhymey, but don't be scared. Oh, it's important to Rosemary Mayer.
Best bowling at 4 for 19. She got in this tournament versus India in Dubai.
There's nothing
So
like
she's-
current form, is there?
Well, she's on decent form. This one's down leg though.
Yes. Keep
Taken,
saying things like that.
taken on the tumble, but it'll still be a wide. She just
Conclusively a wide.
lost her range conclusively a wide. This
I
is a
do
man
declare.
with no bias whatsoever.
Look, bias is the only reason I'm still up, having arisen at 1 o'clock this morning.
This one lashed away up over point. 2 fielders will converge. 3 fielders will converge, and they will come back for 2. I know, 3. Well run. So 5 off the first 4 balls. Nothing wrong with the intent in the field from New Zealand there, that's for sure.
The Brits off the mark.
Yeah, Brits is up and away. I think it was Carlson who got there in the end.
It was like a rugby match there, when everyone converging on the tackle.
Yeah,
Trust the
it was
Kiwis.
charge. Someone had just shouted charge and away 3 of them went. Right, in comes Rosemary Mayer. That's down leg again. Shout for a tickle, given as a wide. Well, now Isabella Gaze, she probably trying it on there. Do you think? I don't think that looked out. It's going to be another one of these. This wide selection is going to get worn out.
Wide.
But, I mean, South Africa had a problem with their range as well, didn't they, Rich, for a while?
Yeah, but it's absolutely fine if both teams do it. So far.
They're in. That's a better ball. That's a very elegant drive, but driven straight to cover.
Yeah, that
And,
deserved runs, but
there
they're
will
getting
be
2 free runs for the wides.
There will be no run. It means at the end of the first over, it's 6 without loss for the Kiwis, and we can go to Messers for the first time this innings.
Okay, so I'd mention the C word. Enrique Munter says our ladies just need to bowl well now. They must remember.
Oh, I beg your pardon.
Parishes win matches.
There's an extra ball, wasn't there? Which is also another wide down leg side. So this is all rather rinse and repeat, I'm afraid, from Rosemary Mayer. There's 1 more to the score. It's 7 without loss. No wonder you were a bit surprised when I cued you in there, Messers. We got a short third of backward point, deep point cover, mid off, mid on, mid wicket, short fine leg, and a very deep square leg. There's the field in place. That's a better ball. That's driven straight though to mid on. And I think finally it is the end of the over. 7 runs from it, 7 without loss for New Zealand. Finally we can officially cue in Messers. Sorry, Messers.
Des Meyer says South Africa going to win this match, which Daniel Kruger agrees with. Olamark Kiwi says Enrique. Carl Herbert says bring back Shelley. I don't think even Rich wants Shelley on at the moment. Des Meyer says South Africa are very strong up front. Yeah, that's why it's really important what goes on with the power play.
If it's any means anything to help, I can tell you, if you're of a South African persuasion, Shelley is on towards the end, the destroyer. She's on the last 10 overs, which may not help if you're South African. Rather, that one's driven to mid-off by Brits. Should jingle up Carson, the new bowler. Where is she? Where are you? 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 Eden Carson, here she is.
I don't like Eden Carson, but Eden Carson.
That's just flick back to as soon as you get pace off. The runs dry up. It's been the same all through the tournament, Richard, hasn't it?
Yep, never fails, especially here. South Africa should have done more of it.
23-year-old from Dunedin, Eden Carson. She pushed this. This is pushed though down to again mid-on. They'll take a single. It's a bit of a surprise when she got a central contract in May 22. She'd earned her first call up, picked for the squad in the 2022 Commonwealth Games. 8 wickets at 15 in this tournament so far. 3 for 29 versus the West Indies, so she has been in very tidy nick. That one's slightly short, muscled away by Wolfhard, past square leg. It's gone all the way, and I think, am I right in saying it's the first one of these? Yeah, she didn't get her range right, it just sat up and said hit me, and was duly dispatched past square leg for 4. Because if you're going to bowl slow and take pace off, you do have to get the ball on the spot. She's tried to push that one through a bit quicker, still short, but it's going to be fielded at mid-wicket though by Millie Kerr, who takes that on the dive. And she tried to then throw whilst also down on one knee. I think she might have done some damage here. Yeah, she's turned her leg over. This would be not great news for New Zealand. She's got up and she's walking away. She seems to be alright. Yeah, she's given the thumbs up, said I think I'm alright.
Says no worries.
New Zealand hearts in mouths. She was alright when she made the stop.
And importantly, she did make the stop.
And importantly, as you rightly say, she did.
Already cocked one up by this stage in the power play and let
14 without loss.
Go for 4.
One more ball left of this Carson over. Thrown up, that's a better ball. Swing and a miss by Laura Wolfhard, and there is no run. So 7 off that over 2. 14 without loss after 2 misses.
Well, just to prove that sports fans do have long memories, Stephen Metherell says, we haven't forgiven South Africa for the refereeing on the 1949 All Blacks tour.
Good Lord.
That is just so far before my time.
It's good
Even as a devotee
grudges,
of the rivalry, I can't speak much about that.
Well, I mean, there are Australians still angry about bodyline, no doubt.
I'm sure there are. Another change of bowling. We're going to see Fran Jonas into the attack. Decent economy rate, just 6 in 4 matches in this tournament so far. She's replacing Rosemary Mayer. Left arm around, very round arm too, and that's whipped by Brits down past backward square. Will be fielded by the bowler, in fact, who's been replaced, Rosemary Mayer. And they'll come back for 2, 16 after 2.1, so they're going at over 8 and over.
Under.
16. Oh, just a shade under. Thank you, Messers.
Sorry.
For correcting my man. No, you're absolutely right.
The pedant in me can't help.
Well, no, that's fair enough. Might as well be accurate. That's nicely pushed about to deep and wide mid-on. They'll take another single.
That was a bit middle overs, wasn't it, that shot?
Well, yeah, and
Drop the one.
they don't really want it to be. I need to jingle
But
up.
they're on the pace at the moment. There or thereabouts.
Here's Fran Jonas.
Bang, bang, bang with the batter. The captain was running out of luck.
Round the wicket she comes. Flicked off her legs. Out to deep mid-wicket. On the fields, they'll come back for 2. And they'll move on to 19.
If there's one thing we know for
2.3.
sure, it's that these two batters know what they're doing, the 2 leading run scorers in the tournament, and you'd have to say absolutely central to South Africa's hopes of chasing these runs down.
Wow, I mean, Laura Wolfart, absolutely. What is she now, 25? She didn't release the ball on that occasion. Signalled a dead ball, something perhaps putting off Laura there. She played for Manchester Originals and the Northern Superchargers in the 100. Oh, she's driven that sweetly. She's evaded cover and extra cover. Threaded that superbly for 4 runs. You heard Messers purring because it's one of these. And a very good one too.
3, 4.
Just found the most imperceptible and narrowest of gaps. It was a very, very elegant looking shot to do it.
A lot of power, too.
Jonas, and she comes. That's onto leg. It's flicked straight to square leg though. Will they have tried a single there? No. It's the a dot ball, first one of the over 2.
But Jonas lucky to get away with another bad ball there. It hasn't been a great start from her. So only one of the 3 bowlers has come off so far, you'd have to say.
Should be the last ball of the over. That's again, she's very round arm, and it's whipped straight down to mid on though. 2-3 bounces. End of the over. It's 24 after 3. 4 and over then. Is that right? 6 4s 24. 6 and over. You idiot. No. 3 6s or 8.
8 and over.
8 and over. 3 8s 24. Brilliant. Thank you. See, Messers has got me in a mathematical tangle. I'm so scared am I to make an error. Right, Messers.
Sorry. The Countess had a bat, I think it is. Says it's the first women's match I've listened to. The Countess approves.
Oh, I'm delighted.
SS Alkamp says SA ladies have shown they have the mental toughness to win this. I think they do, just whether they can keep it going. Brown in Brisbane says, and speaking of being robbed, how about Australia being robbed in their game against Italy in 2000? No way of foul. Oh my God.
What?
We got to get all the grudges.
It's a fun
I'm sure Maradona will come into it somewhere.
and the Kiwis with their forward passes by the French.
What? Yet another bowling change. I'll tell you in a minute. Got a bit of right arm medium at Tahuhu, who goes for a single off her first ball straight to mid on by Brits. And if I can find her somewhere, here she is, Leah Tahuhu.
Her arm gets tired and her back gets sore. But Leah Tahu won't smile, so she goes back to the top of her run. It still looks like she's having fun.
Bowling 2 Brits. Who defends? Back to the bowler. And there is no run. Tasman Brits goes by the name of Taz, not surprisingly. Oh, fantastic. Far away.
Muttley sent us a fiver. He says, how many different Tony fucked up jingles are there?
I beg your pardon. That's very harsh, Mutters.
Yes, it's harsh, isn't it?
But never mind. We have a couple of Tech Tony specials, and oops, it's a replay ones. That's driven hard. It's beaten cover, but it doesn't really get everything onto it. And it will, in the end, just be a single. Just didn't quite middle it, did she, Richard?
No, but interesting to see. Was that Brits, I think, coming down the wicket there, starting to charge a little bit like the Kiwis did up front. Absolutely no attempted pace off the ball here from Tahuhu.
No, she's just
Brits comes down the wicket.
bowling a heavy ball, in fact, as they in the modern parlance. In she comes. Is she going to do the same again? It's Fuller. It's flicked up imperiously. 2, 3, 4 bounces into the mid-wicket boundary by Wolfart. She absolutely nailed that. And it's 4 of these.
1, 2, 3, 4.
30 is up, 30 without loss. 2 balls left of the 4th over.
It's a good start, and South Africa have achieved largely similar run rate without dancing around too much at the wicket. Yeah, there's one or two times they've played it uppishly in the vicinity of fielders, but so far they've placed it well on the whole.
Tahuhu. That's the same shot, same ball, same shot. Slightly straighter, but not by much. And it's 4 more through mid-wicket. One of these. Well, I'm afraid that after a pretty decent start, Leah Tahuhu has rather lost her range here. Just too short. And it gave Laura Wolfart ample time. That one's straighter. Thumps the pad outside her leg, though. It's a dot ball to finish the over. Still 10 from it. 34 for South Africa. 4 overs done, and 2 left in the power play. Messers.
I had a feeling it was Tahuhu who copped a battering from Deandra Dotton in the West Indies game too, didn't she? That was a very costly over for New Zealand.
Yeah.
Pirate Mitchell says for well over a decade, a bridge on the way into Connolly Station in Dublin had graffiti telling Thierry Henry what Dublin thought about that World Cup qualifiers handball. And Dave Wood said, I'll never forgive the Kiwis for cheating at the line-out against Wales in 1978. God help us. I got to tell you,
dig up the coffins.
Carrying these burdens is worse for you than it is for anybody else.
Attempted sweep. We've seen a few of those this week. Carson was in to Tamsin Bretts. There is no run. She didn't really get hold of it. Carson over the wicket, throws this one up. Bretts just guides her, really. You're right, there's another one of those shots down to mid-on that has a sort of middle-overish feel to it, but I'm not quite sure that we have any sort of middle overs.
Well, perhaps some respect for Carson, the first bowler to be awarded a second over for New Zealand, because they've tried a few options that haven't worked.
They've certainly mixed it up. Carson, in she comes, flicked straight to square leg.
I mean, I would suggest if you're the Kiwi skipper, you're worried about Rosemary Mayer coming back to the attack after bowling 3 wides in that first over. I mean, is she going to find her radar later on? If you're thinking ahead, and Tahuhu needs to change something as well.
Carson in, shorter back foot heave down to Plummer, who's at deep mid wicket. Again, just a single. So Carson noticeably more economic. Just 2 runs off 4 balls so far. None for 9 for her, but 36 without loss. Remember, New Zealand, they did lose a wicket.
Pace on the ball.
Pace off has been the way for this tournament. Carson in, back foot defence by Britt, straight to mid-off, and done it again. Frustration for South Africa.
Carson's been really good so far, but she can only bowl 4 overs, and I think maybe Wolfart and Brits are already thinking,
see her off
after the others.
Depends what else they've got. In comes Carson, throws this one up. That's smashed straight, but there is a long on down there. I beg your pardon. There is a very straight mid on.
Quite an expansive shot for one.
Well, it was. It was.
She could have got it more easily than running halfway down the wicket.
It was just a single. Are we done for the 5? God, they just come and go so quickly, don't they? It's just ridiculous.
Really? Okay, but nip and tuck whether South Africa can get to 43 off 6.
37 without loss after 5.
We are in for the long haul.
Richard, you're going to take over ball by ball. Jason and Hendo are going to come in, and I'm going to take my leave for a while.
Pleasure.
I'll let you know that WinViz has New Zealand at 54%, so it's very tight.
It was 50-50 about 4 balls ago. So, is this? Yeah, no, not a drinks break, absolutely not. But it does seem to be a slight delay. Maybe they're just waiting for Hendo to get his headphones on. I suppose that would be the ICC's thinking.
What's that? I've got my headphones on. The ICC are waiting for me.
Well, they're waiting for us. Here we go. Finally. Okay, so we've got Mayer back into the attack after a troubled first over in which she sent down 3 wides. She's going to go for 2 in this first off this first ball of the over, which is a middling one that's just pulled away off the hip in front of square for a couple.
No, just a single, I think it was in the end.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right. I stand corrected. So, Wolfart then will be on strike. Double the number of, or more than double the number of runs of Brits. She's on 24. Mayer again. This one is driven and it has easily beaten the fielders. It's going to go for one of these.
That was beautifully timed.
Now my innings going, great guns, I hit the ball, 4 runs, I hit the ball and it went for 4 runs.
Felt sorry for Brits there because she's no one was taking her out at the kneecap.
It was very important that she got out of the way there.
Oh, that's just brilliant batting. It really is.
She backs away this time, does Wolfart. Misses it entirely, and the ball does not miss off stump by very much.
Yeah, I think she took the pace off there, didn't she? After that, after being hit for that 4, she adjusted pretty well, and she was a bit early with the shot.
Yeah, it was well bowled by Mayer. She's unlucky not to hit the off stump with that.
The radar has been a little bit better in this over so far. This one has just helped away onto the leg side for a single by Wolfart. And South Africa have officially matched that power play score by the Kiwis with 2 balls left to go in the power play, and
1 fewer wicket
still
taken.
man down. Yes.
Yeah, I mean it's a good start. I mean they needed this absolutely, because I mean we looked at that score 159 and thought, wow, that's well above par from New Zealand.
And the win
predictor is hedging his bets or her bets, 50% to each.
That's apparently that none down counts for nothing.
Wow!
Oh, and this has gone over the top of mid-off's head. It's slammed by Brits for one of these.
Oh, this is turning everything on its head, isn't it, really? I mean, we talked about this. It's been difficult to score runs here. I mean,
this could be a classic.
Well, it could.
They just decided to come at the quicks a little bit more. Particularly this over. And there's 1 ball left of it now. And that is going to be a dot ball as mid-off does the fielding. Brits sends Wolfart back 47 without loss after the 6.
Daniel Kruger says, "Go Wolfie!" Enrique Minto says, "Come on, Kiwis, wickets, please." David Wood says, "What does a wolf fart smell of?" I don't know. You tell me.
I've been wondering about that name a lot lately. You have a very similar one in German. It's just spelled very differently. But there's also a Wolfart in German. I also don't know what that means. But a fart in German is not as rude as it sounds. It would just be a journey.
Well, you know, this has been a great start from South Africa, and they're absolutely in the game. New Zealand rendered West Indies almost shotless in the semi-final early on, and someone as good as Matthews really just couldn't get going. Kept hitting to the field in the offside, but I think they've been more wayward. Whether that's because South Africa have come at them, I'm not sure.
Jonas to continue its wide and full outside off stump. Wolfart drives but picks out cover.
Yeah, and it remains to be seen now when they've got fielders back outside the circle, more of them.
Similar shot, just goes out to point this time. Again, no run. But to a degree, they can afford to do what New Zealand did.
They ran very well, New Zealand, in the middle of the overs. From over 6 to about over 15.
New Zealand need a wicket, don't they? Good take down the leg side like that. But it's a wide again.
Wait for the wides. For example, this one. Surely a no ball or 2 and a free hit. We haven't had one of those yet.
That could be the difference in the long run, is that the lack of extras that are being conceded by New Zealand.
So this one is whacked away into the leg side. There's protection out there, and it'll just be the 1 run. Well, there were the 3 wides in 1 over, let's not forget, up the front, and then this one. But so far they haven't let anything go in the field, and they haven't bowled a no ball, which is the more costly kind of extra these days. Jonas again flights it, it lands full, and Brits just... Oh, they're going to push for a second here as Brits plays it out into the offside, and a direct hit would have been out, I might suggest, but
yeah, I think so.
Probably long odds on that from so far away.
Yeah, absolutely. Plimmer, I think it was, who threw that in. Again, bowler was nowhere near the stumps. I think the bowler's got to get around the stumps and hope to grab that. And hell.
Here's Jonas. Down the wicket comes Brits and heaves it up
Catch.
towards long on. It is caught by Green on the boundary rope. New Zealand go crazy with celebration. They've seen the back of Brits for 17.
Absolutely. They needed that so very, very much.
It was actually quite reminiscent of the first New Zealand wicket as well, actually.
Absolutely,
there was that kind of extra flick of the wrist as you're trying to sort of save the timing that you know you haven't got. And it went to the fielder in exactly the same position.
And it's well bowled by Jonas, who I think saw Brits come advancing and just pulled her length back very slightly. So she was hitting on the up.
Well, with 1 ball to go, it's been a much better over from Jonas Watts. She went for 10 in the first over that she bowled and was all over the place, but this has been much better. But coming to the crease is the heroine of the semi-final. It is none other than this woman.
Rising through the ranks she was by the name Anika Bosch. Anika Bosch. Anika Bosch.
Mog's sleeping soundly, presumably somewhere in Melbourne. He should be up to hear his own jingles. They're great, really good.
So, much as in the semi-final, Brits has helped South Africa to get away, but departed for a middling-ish score. In this case, 17, but that, as we have pointed out, brings the biggest batting star to the wicket. At least as far as current form is concerned. Jonas to finish the over. It's going to be an immediate start for Bosch. She gets off to a nice easy start with a gentle drive down to long off for 1. 52 for 1 after 7.
Pirate Badger says, did anybody hear about the bankrupt gardener? He was betting his hedges.
Oh, boom, boom. Boom, boom. He's here all day.
And Bhupender Sabdi says, I hope the chokers are going to win this time.
Well, we hope South Africa, in a sense, we don't want South Africa to choke because we can't play the choke jingle. It gets us banned on YouTube.
Really?
Yeah. It's a great jingle, but
it's so easy to upset people these days.
Des Meyer said, I said that South Africa would scamper to an easy win. And they're on the way. Go Proteus. Bosch is marching on, says Daniel Kruger.
So, and we have a bowling yet another new bowler.
Oh,
It's Amelie Kerr.
it's the all action.
I'll jingle her up.
Amelia Kerr is a cricket bee. Tags on her fingers like a piece of meat. Spoke to the coach the other day and Bailey's doing fine.
Well, that was a nice, friendly, short leg side-ish ball that she could just help around the corner, and Bosch moves to 2.
Yeah, that wasn't a great ball, was it? I'm afraid to say.
Yeah, it was a bit of a pull down.
Now, she's got a great economy rate in this tournament, 4.62. And if she can produce that again,
And
then
she's highest wicket taker as well, I think.
I thought that was a
I
love.
believe so, yeah. That was the graphic.
That's
that came
more
up
like it.
earlier. This one's a bit straight, just played off the back foot into the leg side by Wolfart, and she takes 1 run.
It's kind of hard. You've got to toss it up because it's easy to go back on this slow pitch and hit short balls. But you've got to have the nerve to do that, and then it dies in the pitch, and it's very difficult to score.
You've got to bowl as slow as you can possibly manage it,
And
but
as
as full as you can manage it as well.
This one's hit Bosch on the pads, but I would reckon outside off stump.
I think that's high
Coming
as well.
together for a chat.
Oh, I don't think there's any chance of that being out, is there? She got well outside off stump.
Very little. The captain comes running in and then starts reversing almost immediately. So detecting a vibe of disinterest. They will keep their 2 reviews for better times.
That's googly. I think it was the googly.
It's high though.
It's high, yeah, very high.
So Kerr to continue over the wicket to Bosch, who has a good old heave at it, and it emerges behind the wicket keeper. I'm not sure it was meant to be played that fine, but she'll get 2 for her troubles.
Yep. Yeah, so it's been 2 good balls and 2 poor balls in this over so far from Kerr. Bit of a mixed bag.
Just looking at that googly, that's just outside off, and it is umpire's call on the height as well.
Blimey, well that could have been out, couldn't it? If it'd been given, that would have
Yep.
been out.
So a bit closer than I thought about height.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Absolutely.
It's Kerr once again. This one's a little bit shorter, and Bosch finds it easy to just slap it away onto the leg side, and they'll just have the 1 from that delivery. Score moves on to 57 for 1.
If you can just get away with, just 1 off this last ball, then you'll have to say it's a good over.
yeah,
It's often difficult to finish off overs. We've seen 4s from the last ball in so many games.
And after a very deliberate spit and polish, it's a similar ball, and it's going to be a similar result with a 1 run into the leg side for Bosch. So at the conclusion of 8, South Africa are 58 for 1.
Enrique Mansour says, Kiwis, we need a few ducks out there.
Quite.
Which is responded to Dean Morris shouting at me saying, come on Proteus, I'm listening, watching on my phone from Taiwan. It's 11 minutes past midnight now, here in the night. And David Trott says, hi everyone from Cape Town.
Hello, great to have you along. Great.
How's it?
If you found us and haven't before, welcome along to Gorilla Cricket. We are here for almost every match you can imagine. We're here for the England series of Pakistan. We've got the West Indies White Ball Tour coming up. Of course, we do these international tournaments as well. Wish we could do India-New Zealand, but unfortunately, we don't have enough people to do both games.
So Tahuhu back into the attack, went for 10 off her first over, and do the batter's eyes light up again? They will start with a couple of just one run there for ball fight. That's a short one that's just cut away into the offside.
If I was batting out there, your eyes would light up as soon as pace came back on, to be honest.
Exactly, and Tahuhu was the most extreme example of that in her first over. It was just very obvious. Let's see, does she find a way to take any a little bit actually.
That's close, but
that is hit right in front. Umpire says no.
It's an interesting one.
Batter smiling nervously.
I think you might review that one.
Nope.
Hey, not interested.
Well, I suspect if they had more reviews to play with, they might be.
Sure.
But only got a couple. That said, when you've got 20 overs and you've got a dangerous batter in, I think there's a bottom edge.
Yeah,
inside
edge.
edge there, yeah. That's what...
That'll be the reason. But certainly a change of pace, you'd think, off that one. Third delivery they're over here now from Tahuhu, and again it's wrapped the batter on the pad as she dances around trying to work it away into the leg side, so there'll be no run.
I just think if something's going to give here, don't you? Sort of 3 balls and just the 1 run.
Bosch is definitely trying to run at her and hit the ball. I'm wondering whether or not she should just anchor herself in the crease and
pull
and not go over all out aggressive.
Comparison: 59 for 2 New Zealand, 59 for 1 South Africa. Exactly the same point.
Tahuhu once again. There's an attempt at a scoop, but the ball doesn't even get up. It just ends up going through to the keeper. There's a sigh, a very, very almost audible from here sigh from Bosch. Because it's been 3 dot balls in a row now.
I'm going to describe someone else now. This is very Pope-like frantic at the start of an innings.
Yeah, I suppose she's coming in, isn't she? And everyone has got raised expectations of her after that semi-final, and so
I think
she's kind of trying to live up to that, I suppose.
5 off 8 to Huhu bowls. She lets this one go. Looks over at square leg umpire because it was thudded into the pitch and tennis ball bounced up, but you're unlikely to get a wide.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, you know, they're not bowling quick enough for that to go that high, is it? I mean, it's past her at sort of forehead height, I would say. Yeah,
it's a dangerous tactic leaving one of those. To finish what has been a strong over so far, it is clouted back towards the bowler who does her own fielding. So 1 from the over. How decisive will that prove? 59 for 1 after 9.
More love from Cape Town from Jason Sleppers.
Hey.
And David Wood says, it's difficult to go again after a good
semi.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who misses?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I mean, they just showed that there'd been 18 balls, 19 balls since the last boundary, and of course, New Zealand went through this in their innings as well.
Yeah.
Around about this point, they didn't score a boundary, something like 43 balls.
Yeah, and then they just said, right, we're going for a couple of overs now, and they went.
That's
and
right.
It worked.
It did.
South Africa, it's just the parallels are striking. It's so far very, very similar where it's playing out. Kerr to continue. This one is caught. It is out. Caught at a wide-ish mid-off. She has hit it straight to the fielder. Gone for 33.
Yeah, she really threw that one up, didn't she, Kerr?
Yeah.
And she went after it. I thought she was going to get it over, to be honest, but it dropped in the hands of extra, and she has gone, I'm afraid. And that's
face like thunder, and wouldn't you?
Crowd says out.
The crowd says. The crowd says. The crowd says you're out.
I've got a feeling though, Kerr is actually
she's injured,
carrying an injury, isn't she? She went down, didn't she, in the outfield in the earlier overs, and then got up. The physio came on, but she got up straight away. But she's definitely sort of flexing that ankle.
I feel a bit
limping a little bit
for Laura Wolfhard here, because I think she's decided to take the advantage, take the pressure off Bosch, who's having problems connecting the bat with the ball at the moment. And if Bosch had just played herself in a little easier, she wouldn't have had to play that expansive shot.
You might be right. New batsman. Keep saying batsman.
Her eyes are like weapons.
I love this jingle.
She'll burn you. Her gaze is like fire.
This is the
important batter for South Africa.
Arguably the best all-rounder in the world, Marizanne Kapp.
And Kapp works that away behind square on the leg side, possibly a little edgily. There'll be no run.
There's now 100 off 64 balls. That's getting
9 and
quite
over.
tricky, isn't it? Best of 43 in this tournament, Marizanne Kapp. I mean, there haven't been massive scores in this tournament, have there? As Bosch's 74 was the highest individual innings.
Yeah, we may look back on that last over by Tahuhu as a real turning point, because she really fought back well, thought about what she needed to do after a bad first over and did it. I don't think South Africa did enough of that with the ball. Anyway, Kapp smashes this down to wide-ish long on and trots through for a first run.
We'll get a change of personnel at the end of this over.
God, this one's gone very quickly, hasn't it? It's gone very quickly, this little 5-over group.
Oh, you do notice that the ladies get through their overs quite fast, don't they? Here's Kerr again. She will field off her own bowling, and there'll be no run. Yeah, now we've got that runs off balls thing, and it does start to look more frightening quite quickly.
It's just not happening for Bosch today, is it, so far? 5 off 11.
This time she tries to make something happen, and she gets over to the outside of the off stump and just hoiks it over slog sweep style for one of these.
And that is actually a shot that we played quite a lot in the semi, and she's picked her spot really well, because there are two women out there. So I do men's cricket most of the time. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Kerr to complete the over. Will it be a strong finish for South Africa? No, it won't. The keeper is running and celebrating in the direction of the bowler, thinking there's been a catch. It's going to have to be referred if they want a wicket here.
They are.
They
have referred it.
They're having a look. So she's tried to play the same shot, more or less. Made loads of room outside off stump. Try and get outside the line. But has she missed it? This is the question. They're going to have a look at that on review.
I mean, it's unlucky if you've got an edge to that, to be honest. It would only be the toe end, wouldn't it? Oof. Well, we're looking at it, but we haven't got ultra edge at the moment.
Well,
so.
I think not, but
yeah,
we need sound to be sure. It's close enough that you're going to need ultra edge.
It's a very good take. You can say that from...
it is! Tiny little scratch.
There is edge on it. Oh, my word. She didn't think she got anything on it, but she had. Oh, my goodness.
She's off in the half.
Well, goodness me. It's turning New Zealand's way, isn't it? It really is, now I'm afraid to say, if you're South African.
Bosch's brief attempt to break the shackles.
Another one bites the dust. I think that is going to be out, Fred. Another one bites the dust.
Okay, it's time for a change. Tony is going to come in to do some summarising. Shelley should be back. There she is. She looks to be sunning herself on a very nice palm-fringed beach, which is unlikely in Oxford, but there you go. Welcome back, Shelley. What's happening? Are you full of gloom?
Yeah, the 3 wickets weren't even me. What have you guys been doing?
You were watching.
Messy.
That's enough.
Oh gosh.
Oh,
so yes, South Africa 3 down for 64, and definitely a rebuild. Definitely going to be needed. Hopefully, not too much of a change of lineup, so they keep it more or less to the batters that have been batting rather well this tournament. Messi, is there anything on socials for you to tell us about?
Well, there's a lot of sort of single line stuff. I'd appeal to our listeners to sort of not flood the feed if possible. If you've got something to say, like Red Eye, put it there, but just saying come on New Zealand, come on South Africa, really not sort of helping much. Because I know some places don't do this, but we tend to use that feed as messages to be read on the air. Marty says, yeah, Shelley's back. Quick, get her in ball by ball. Oh dear. Lockie says, no, it's all over. Danny Bailey and the harvest is in. And Rick Mentor says this match is slowly moving away from South Africa.
You kind of felt, actually, didn't you, a little bit, that maybe it was, you had the battle of the tournament's top wicket taker against the tournament's top run scorer. And would that be, whoever wins that, would that be the bellwether for the result? Yet to see, but could easily be, because it was definitely Millie Kerr who's finally come out on top, getting the wicket of Laura Voltart.
Yeah, well, Bosch certainly wasn't looking anything like she did in her last match.
But that's the problem she'd had.
Yeah,
well, she'd had that problem. She'd had a lot of criticism leading up to that 74 of scoring too slow, not being able to get going. That was her run rate up until the semi-final had been really under fire, and yet she found her form. But she now seems to have sort of reverted, rather sadly from a sort of South African perspective, to her pre-semi-final form.
Yeah, it almost feels like South Africa played their final on Thursday.
Well, it was a bit early to tell, but the depth, and I know Shelley I'm sure would know more than me, but the depth of their batting hasn't been tested that often. And now that they've lost, let's say the big 3, it's going to be tested.
Absolutely, and I think this is the partnership now. And if Cup goes, I'm very worried. So, and they've brought in de Klerk.
They have. That was a cue for me to play a jingle, wasn't it? If only I'd been paying attention, Shelley. Hang on 1 second. Nadine de Klerk, I'll do it after this ball.
Jonas in and driven into the covers on a up, but misses the fielder, and they should have gone through for a single.
Oh, I've managed to delete her. How did I manage that? Oh no, here she is. I just moved her accidentally. Don't ask me how, but here she is. Nadine de Klerk.
As a bowling to line of work, a handy all-rounder called Nadine de Klerk. The only thing that helps her pass the time away is hoping that the Proteas can win a World Cup someday.
And it's Jonas in to Nadine de Klerk and bouncing just in front of the fielder in the covers, and they should be able to come through for 2. Great running.
Can I just say that's a fantastic jingle, by the way.
I'm hearing all the new jingles that have come through for the ladies. So they're absolutely brilliant.
I'm trying to remember, was it the bank 9 to 5?
Sweatshop was working overtime the last 2
Can you
days.
imagine? Jonas into de Klerk and push into the covers, misfielded, goes underneath the diving fielder, and they will scamper through for a single. If we have a look at the batsmen to come, we've got who I still think is going to be pretty good, Lewis and Tehran, so hopefully they will be preparing themselves in the hut. Jonas into Cup and flicked onto the leg side to the boundary fielder, and they've run through for a single.
Oh, sorry, I was looking up who the original inspiration for that song was. I know I should know it. My job is very boring. I'm an office clerk.
Jonas in again to de Klerk and flicked onto the leg side again for a single to the boundary fielder.
I feel like the South Africans should be running much harder and putting pressure on the field. You know, they may not get 2s, but pressure on the fielders is what creates a lot of misfields.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you have a look at the comparison between the New Zealanders and South Africans, you can see it. Jonas into Cup and smashed to the covers, no run, straight to the fielder, and that's the end of the 11th over. South Africa are 70 for 3.
Martha and the Muffins. Now I can relax and go back to the cricket.
There we go.
Dave Wood couldn't help himself. He says, have the Kiwis got South Africa in a chokehold here? Oh dear, dear. But he was also the one who pointed out it was Martha and the Muffins, so thank you for that, Dave, you're forgiven. And Farong says, squeaky bum time for the Sappers? Well, yes, and for those of us with bets on the Sappers as well. I was surprised how much I want them to win now I've got a bet on them. It makes a big difference sometimes.
You see, with losing so much, you actually get everybody's support. So, Carson into de Klerk and heaved, I'm going to go with, into the leg side for a single. But it is 88 more runs needed from 53 balls. It's definitely climbing, and the pressure will be mounting on these two. I feel that Cup has a massive role to play if South Africa are going to get there. Do you agree, Tony?
Yeah, I did about 85 off whatever it was.
Carson into Cup and smashed into the leg side, but again straight to the fielder that's on the boundary, and just a single. Definitely not trying to push for that second one, which is rather surprising. But Cup is now shouting something at de Klerk.
Well, WinViz have now got New Zealand at 87%.
Highest score of 43 against Scotland in this tournament so far, Maris and Cup.
Carson into de Klerk and an appeal, but it was going way down leg side.
Well, they're appealing for a catch behind, I think, which is gaze up. They're going to have a look. They are going to have a look. Carson's attitude was interesting. She just turned around and shrugged her shoulders towards the umpire and went, "Oh well, I've got no clue." But the wicketkeeper seemed a lot. Isabel Gaze. She seemed a lot more certain.
And after the last review, I don't think they'll take any chances. Oh, this is close. Going to be close.
It's a question of whether it wasn't an edge. It was whether the bat caught up with the ball as it had gone past. I don't think it does.
The glove.
Yeah, possibly glove.
Oh, that's
We're going to have
close.
to wait to see Ultra Edge.
I think that has come off the glove, isn't it?
And the glove is still connected to the handle, so it will count.
Well, I
So-
think we're still waiting, are we?
Yes, waiting on outrage.
That's very close.
Nadine de Klerk doesn't look overly fussed, does she? She doesn't look like a woman who's desperately worried.
But I would have said the same thing about Bosch, if I'm honest. She also didn't look overly worried.
No, she didn't. Well, we're still waiting. Surely Ultra Edge is what we need to see. Anna Harris, the third umpire, but it really is down to Ultra Edge. Either it touches something or it didn't. The camera angles we got, Shelley, just don't tell us enough.
Exactly, we need from behind the stumps, at the very least. If there's a technical difficulty, the on-field decision holds. So if they want to have one, now's great.
I mean, we're talking about the testing of the depth of the batting. You've got Nadine de Klerk who's in there. She's had one knock in the tournament, and that was one not out because she hasn't needed, which she got at Sharjah against England. So you're into untried territory, really, because South Africa have relied so much.
Tyrone played quite a few innings, but I think after her, totally agree with you, there's no experience.
She does have a
coming
high
out
score
in
of
this
44, not out. Does Nadine de Klerk in
This is a-
her T20s overall, of which she's played 61 or so.
This is a very long wait for Ultra Edge.
Average 21 for the Blaze in the Charlotte Edwards Cup.
Here we go.
Let's have a look.
Rolling through, still flat line. That line.
So it's here. It's as it reaches the glove that is the acid test. Oh, something flickered. It was a minimal flickerette. It was barely perceptible. Could just have been just the general noise. I think
No,
you'd be
think she's
hard to give that, wouldn't you? It wasn't even it was the tiniest, the merest of flutters, and I just don't think
But
that's
flutters
conclusive proof.
Flutters like that were happening earlier on when the ball was nowhere near the bat. So it's definitely.
Yeah, I think unless you are, well, no, I just don't think you can give that, and we will move on. De Klerk
But again,
will survive.
too close to call. Really, going down leg, those need to be put away. Particularly
Well,
in
it
these
should be a
situations.
wide then, so that should be one more run.
That will help.
But then why isn't it a wide?
It will be called a wide now,
We hope.
I think.
No?
Well, that's even more
But-
curious because that was down leg, so surely that should have been a wide, as you rightly say. It's given us a
Been
dot
given
ball.
as dot. Wow. Carson into de Klerk and
That doesn't make sense.
pushed in behind the keeper for a single. I'm very confused. There was absolutely nothing on that whatsoever. Down the leg side. And a dot ball. Wow. South Africa lose by 1 run. Remember 11.3.
The
What is this
Kiwis
gonna
might
be,
point
snick-
to a certain men's World Cup final and go, we're due some luck.
Carson in and cup onto one leg. Flicked behind square and well. Oh, is it going to be stopped? No. Touches the boundary for one of these.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
Got in a tangle down there on the sponge, didn't they?
Indeed, and I think that was really needed for South Africa because the pressure had been building. Wickets had been falling, and Morrison, I think, has just released a little bit, but they're going to need a lot more boundaries.
Well, she tried to flick it back, did Mayer, and she flicked it onto her own leg.
Cast again into cup and flicked again from one leg, but this time it will be caught at the boundary. Morrison cup is out.
That's it.
What's that
Sorry
coughing
for that.
sound?
I reckon it's all over.
Oh dear.
It's amazing, isn't it, how all the catches with one exception of the last ball of the innings have been caught after so many being dropped.
The dreams that I dreamed were mine are going,
Very appropriate jingle.
And that's the
Wow,
end of the
big
12th
wicket.
over.
Well taken by Plymouth, beautifully judged. Again, by and large, the catching in this final has been excellent when so much of the fielding here has come under such criticism and the lights offered as the primary excuse, but not been so today.
Lockie Sixers, Test cricket connoisseurs typically disinclined to spout mindless excrement in the T20 chat rooms. I'm an exception.
Fair enough. Splurt away.
The Countess Hat of Bat, or Bat of Hat, I can't remember which, says, will you win the GP elbow message? It's possible. Yes, we'll have a look as we get.
Here's the new batter for you.
This Chloe's not trying. Chloe Tryon is doing.
They need best part of close to 2 runs a ball, don't they?
Absolutely, and we've got the change of bowler in. Mer back into de Klerk and heaved. Is it going to be out? And again, it's out.
Oh, dear God.
2 in 2, not for the same bowler. Wow. Shelley, this is not. You are living up to your reputation, but it's not quite to the script you would have wanted, is it? Oh my lord!
I blame you, Tony.
You can't blame
you
me.
You drew up the roster.
Well, this is very true. I didn't know who was going to be bowling and batting at the time I did it, though. Be fair. But I'm afraid, goodness me, it's one of these. I think this is appropriate.
Willow, weep for me. Willow, weep for me. Bend your branches.
Yeah, she just didn't get over it, did she? It was. She was looking, I think, to angle the bat and steer through cover, but just helped it on its way. Short third, gone.
Roller into loose and smashed into the covers, beautifully driven, but will be fielded by the cover fielder, and they should get through for 2. But no, I would say this is the last recognizable pair in for South Africa that is pretty much tried and tested. After this, I would say game over. So this is it. These two have to get pretty much all the runs if South Africa has any last chance. Mayer coming in to loose and directed into middle stump and put onto the leg side, backward a square for a single.
Well, we did say it was going to be, the New Zealand's bowling strength against perhaps South Africa's batting strength. You had the leading wicket taker bowling at the leading run scorer. It's New Zealand have come out on top. That's the 8th wicket of the tournament for Rosemary Mayer, and she's been getting them at 13. So it is the bowling that's just on top right now.
But I won't take away from what the New Zealand batters did. They put all the pressure on. So Mayer into Chloe Tryon, and I don't even know what the right word to call that anymore. I used to call it a Chinese cut, but what is it now? For no run.
Vatican slice.
Vatican slice. I remember it being something else from you, Tony. Vatican slice.
Well, not just me. Not.
But yeah, that's where I heard it from, the Vatican slice.
Well, there you are. Don't know why, have no idea. I always think that sounds like a sort of a cake. But nonetheless, for some reason we started calling it that, and I genuinely don't know why.
Mayer into Taron and trickled onto the leg side. They're pushing hard, coming back sent back. We're trying to come back for 2 and just a single. But it's good to see the attitude is now changing, looking for the second run. And I've just wondered, this should have come earlier.
Should jingle up Sinner Loose while we're at it.
Let me see if you agree about a cricketer named Sooney. Sooney can do it all with the bat and with the ball. She bowls it good, with the bat she gives it hole. So if you please, it's time for the famous Sooney Loose.
Mayer into loose and push straight back down the ground to the fielder. No run, and that's the end of the 13th over. South Africa 81 for 5. Over to you, Messi.
Another great jingle, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Still advantage to New Zealand thus far, says Bar Augustine, which is quite true. Thank you, Shelley. New Zealand looking strong, says Carl Herbert.
Well, Suna Luce, I mean, she's got a century in tests. She averages 40 in the 3 tests she's played, averages 40 and a highest score of 109. Averages 22 in T20 eyes, but again, this tournament hasn't really had the opportunities. 18 not out against Scotland, 1 against England. That's the only real occasion she's been called on to bat.
Kerr into Tyrone and swept into the leg side, 1 bounce to the fielder on the boundary. And South Africa are needing 77 runs or 41 balls, and this mountain is getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, they've got
today could be the day. I mean, New Zealand have already beaten England, India and Australia today, so obviously they just want to add South Africa to the set.
Kerr into loose and flicked onto the leg side to the fielder, and that will be 2 runs to add to the total.
Definitely punching above their weight.
If they 2 a ball, would that get them there, Messrs?
What is it? 75 or
75 or 40 something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Keep doing 2s and they're there. Kerr into loose and just pushed into the covers, no run, straight to the fielder.
75 or 39 now. So,
Yeah,
but even so, that would.
It's about 11 and over at the moment.
Yeah, that's a big ask. It was already going to be the biggest chase of the tournament, I think, if they achieved it.
Kerr into loose and smashed over the cover fielders, but only to a single, 1 bounce and sent back to the bowler.
Well, not the biggest chase in terms of what's set, but the biggest chase in what would have been achieved if they were to get there.
Yeah.
For a final, it was a massive total, I thought, and the pressure just to try and get that.
But 14 wickets for Millie Kerr. I mean, she's been terrific this tournament.
Kerr in again, and massive appeal. I wonder if this is going to be sent up. Hit Tryon straight on the pad. Having a consultation for sure. I think it's pretty close. She moved outside the off stump to try and. Oh, here they go. Yeah. They're reviewing it.
I thought they might. I thought it was.
That was close.
We're on top. We might as well review. And I don't think. I think it might just have been going over, but
she went so far across. I think they're in business.
Well, she has that front foot forward a long way.
Where does it strike front?
That said, she is a long way forward, and it certainly wasn't rising that much. She's not outside leg. So she's got her knee well bent. It catches her on the knee roll, but will have been going down, not up. I'm with you, I think. I've got a funny feeling, unless Ultra Ed shows us something. Shelley, you're right.
Because you can see the middle and the leg stump. I think only umpire's call, I think, is going to save her here.
Oh, no, she's fine.
No, bat. Yeah,
I think something. Glove.
Oh, that was very lucky. Maybe she knew it all along.
She must have, yeah. I mean, if you've been hit on the glove, you surely would know. But she'd be a good poker player then, because she wasn't really giving much indication of being of absolute confidence, but she'll be relieved and on we go.
And New Zealand have no more reviews left, so if this gets tight, they have no more left. So
12 and over exactly now.
Right, and this will be Kerr coming into Tron and heaved onto the leg side. The South Africans are pushing hard. Will they come back for a second? No. Well fielded, only 1 run, and that's the end of the 14th. South Africa are 86 for 5.
Millie Kerr's still got one of those to bowl as well, and she's been very hard to get away as well as taking wickets. Sorry, Messrs.
Another one, says Enrique Mentor. Dreams live longer than dreamers. So that's about it, apart from a few odds and ends that have been put in. But basically people saying, come on.
Well, delighted. We got loads of people listening. That's fantastic. We're so glad you are with us, enjoying this final, which seems, Shelley, as painful as it may be for you to hear or think about, just seems to have tilted New Zealand's way, doesn't it, in the last 3 overs or so?
Completely. And New Zealand have so far played a fantastic game, and now literally 36 balls left. And here we go, in for a new over, and it is flicked onto the leg side. If the girls are pushing, they should come back for 2. But they need more now than 2 every ball, so very much needing a few boundaries as well.
Well, if they could get to a ball, they'd be there or thereabouts come the last ball of the. It'd be a heck of a finish if they can get to a ball from here on in.
Well, 2 a ball will get them a super over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, New Zealand and super overs, hey.
Ah, here we go. Imagine. I officially am going off commentary for that. Right, down the ground goes Taran, and 4 runs.
Good shot too. Beautiful shot. Absolutely nailed that.
Beautiful
long and
fireworks
straight.
also going off.
And if you kids can't listen, then you bound to see the way you get shot for crossing a boundary,
Pretty much gun barrel straight, wasn't it? Straight back over the bowler's head, just slightly on the offside. But absolutely glorious shot.
And back to the live action, and hoiked onto the leg side just for a single, straight to the fielder. But definitely Chloe is taking now, I would say, the leadership role in this partnership, and realizes that a lot of this is going to be on her. And so yes, definitely very much this partnership has to slowly build and get, I would say, if not all, the majority of these 66 runs that are needed.
Yeah.
And here comes the bowler in to loose and flicked onto the leg side. Definitely we will be pushing for 2. Are they going to come back? Well fielded, but did they come back? No, just a single. Girls are definitely increasing the energy between the running of the wickets compared to earlier in the innings. Definitely looking for that second at every opportunity.
She had a great 100 for the London Spirit, did Chloe Tryon. So, I mean, she certainly got the horsepower to do it. She hit the highest total runs in the 8 games, averaged 32, highest of 55 in the 100.
Yeah.
So she's got the striking power. Can she bring it to the fore here, though? She's going to need to.
Absolutely, and I think that was also part of the last game they played against Australia. Is they brought her in ahead of Cup for that, just to make sure that there was some experience or time out there, and I think it's going to have to come good now. So Tahuhu coming in, full toss, and hit down the ground just for a single. 1 more ball left in this over.
Hendo and Jason are going to come in. I'm going to go and have a lie down and a rub down with a copy of the Sporting Life in the green room, I think, to see what happens at the end.
It was a super over, Tony. You can come back. We'll all be on for that. Tahu in for the last ball of the over. Put into the leg side, just in front of square, fielded, and just a single. So that is 96 for 5 after 15.
Thanks. Thank you for that. I shall catch you on Thursday for the next test match in Rawalpindi.
Indeed. Thanks, Messi. Thanks, Tony.
Right, well, here we are. Last 5 overs of the World T20 competition for this year. Excuse me. Choking on chocolate fingers, I'm afraid to say. Too many in one go. Halliday is going to come on to bowl. New Zealand have got rid of 5 South Africans. 96 for 5. The required rate is 12.5, just over 12.6. 63 from 30 balls. It's a big ask, Shelley, but do you think this could be the reverse choke? This could be the reverse choke where instead of South Africa looking like they're walking it and then ruining everything, they look well out of the game, but they're just going to come up on the outside.
This is a surprise. I've not seen Brooke Halliday bowl before.
No, me neither. She's going to bowl what looks like horrible.
Oh,
Oh my god, I'm not surprised she hasn't bowled before. She bowls.
Well, this is what we needed. Where has this been? Right.
It is a wide, but I'll tell you what else it was. It's kind of off the wrong foot. If you can imagine a much slower Mike Proctor and a much worse Mike Proctor, that would be that, because that was awful. What happened there?
Filth. Have you got a filth jingle?
Oh god, I don't know where that is now. Is it under?
It's selected in play, I think.
Oh, okay. I'll have a look for that. Let's see if she can do better with this one.
Well, whoever decided to bring her on, thank you very much. I want 36 of this over, please.
Goodness me.
Much required.
Very strange. Here she is again. Oh, that's straighter. It's driven. She's going to go wicket. She's going to go wicket with her second ball. Would you believe? Caught an extra cover. When she gets it right, she is a handful. And loose has gone. Halliday, who batted so well earlier, has got another crucial wicket. South Africa really trying to convince us that they're not going to win this, but then going to come up on the outside. They've lost their 6th wicket.
Another one bites the dust. I think that is going to be out, Fred. Another one bites the dust.
And Tony has had a word in my shell and says, Brooke Halliday took 2 for 16 in the semi-final against Australia.
I missed that.
Yep.
I mean, I was watching that game, but I must have been in and out of the room or something, because I don't remember I think I would have remembered an action like that. Anyway, so a wide and a wicket. It's pretty interesting stuff. Dirksen comes to the wicket for South Africa, and they it's not easy to hit boundaries on this pitch, even with Halliday, whose bowls a little bit quicker than the spinners. There's still very little pace on the ball, so it's really hard to go harder, isn't it? Really, this is the problem. You've got to chip away and try and turn ones into twos. Really, best of 20 not out in this tournament. 21 runs in total, so she didn't have much of a chance in the other games. Halliday in bowls. Gosh, she had to wait for that an age, didn't she? Yeah. Works it out to Plimmer, who is at deep mid wicket. Single for Dirksen.
I don't know what Shelley thinks of it, but I think there's an awful lot of very fast arm, and then the ball just plops out.
Yes, it's certainly interesting. We haven't. I mean, on the basis that Mog did all these jingles, we better have Anna Reid Dirksen.
What does Anna Reid do when she gets bored? She goes and plays some cork rind.
Oh, and Halliday's got away with one there. He bowled a horrible leg side full toss. Tryon hit it well enough, but picked out the woman on the 45. So there was no run. There was a 4 waiting for her there, but she didn't take advantage, afraid to say. So halfway through the over, it's a bit of a mixed bag. Oh my god! Well, that's a bit unfortunate, isn't it? I mean, that has just died completely in the pitch. It seems to have maybe there was a little bit of leg cut on it, because it seemed to move away, and by the time that Tryon got to it, it was about a yard wide of the off stump.
Well, it was just right over the top of the blue advisory line for wide, and if she'd left it, I think it would have been wided.
Seen that a few times today. That's a better ball. It's clumped off the back foot down to long on for a single. 99 for 6. 1 ball remaining in Halliday's over.
I'm getting these thinking feelings, like I do every World Cup when South Africa get into a semi and a final.
Yeah, it's been so disappointing
so close,
for them.
but so far.
I can't believe they lost that the one to India. That was the killer, wasn't it? Halliday bowls pulled powerfully, but there will be a woman out there. It's Plimmer. She's done some good work at deep mid wicket. They get through for a single, so just the 4 runs off the over. South Africa's 100 comes up, but they've got a lot to do. They need another 60 runs, 59 runs from 24 balls. Jason.
Enrique Mentor says possible wicket coming, number 6. We can add number 7 potentially soon. Muttley says, I've got a prior appointment. Enjoy the rest of the match.
Oh,
Primates, love and sausages.
Thank you very much.
Presumably woof as well.
I imagine a woof on the way out. Right, Dirksen is going to take guard to Jonas, coming back into the attack. Left arm round the wicket, no great pace. I said Dirksen is quite well built. She's quite tall by the looks of things. Might have long levers. Maybe reach one of these and whack it over mid-wicket or something. In comes Jonas, bowls, and she's got a leading edge to that one, but it's fallen safe just out of the reach of Susie Bates, I think, running around it from inside the circle at extra cover. They've raced through for one.
Definitely timed that leading edge.
Yeah, always good to...
And they're looking to come back for 2. They nearly even started to run themselves off.
Dirksen was. I don't think the other batsman had any interest at all at going for 2.
Yeah, it wasn't far away from the fielder. Down the wicket and pulls that into the onside. It's got that fairly straight, but Plimmer is quick over there. They might get an overthrow here. She threw in from the boundary, and it was a direct hit. It then rebounded away towards mid-off, but I think if they'd been alive to it, they might have got a second there. Anyway, so it's just a single, 102 for 6. 57 of 22. Yeah, I think great as it was for India in that men's World T20 final, an amazing comeback from them. I mean, that really was the worst, as far as I'm concerned, from South Africa. That's a really well struck shot from Dirksen, brilliantly parried though by the woman at long on, diving away to the right. Definitely saved a couple of runs, and then again the throw comes in. It's a direct hit. Can they get a third? Seemingly not.
Maybe she's injured herself. One of the New Zealand players is taking a while to get
Maddie
up there.
Green or
Maddie Green, I think it was out there. It's a good shot. He's picked it up really well, timed it, but she's just patted it down on the run there, Green, and then she stumbled over the boundary edge and just maybe hurt herself a little bit. Plimmer tied it up. So that was Plimmer who threw it in. 2 throws in succession from the boundary have been direct hits.
Yep.
How extraordinary.
Unbelievable.
That is very weird.
Wonder what we're looking at.
We're looking to see whether the batter had...
she put the bat down, then the bat went up.
No,
that's all right, that's fine.
Foot behind the line, so we're good.
That would have been a silly way to lose a wicket. Jonas in again, well wide of the off stump, lifted up and over the infield and the covers. It's running towards the boundary. Carson is after it. She'll put it up about 5 yards inside, and this time they surely have got back for 2. The required rate is almost up to 16 and over now. 106 for 6. Tryon is on 13 from 13. Dirksen has 7 from 5. Is that Craig McMillan sitting there? He's the White Ferns coach, I think he is. It'd be very.
I was trying to work out who it was because I recognised the face, and you just reminded me.
Well, this is heaved into the onside all the way along the ground up to long on. It was a bit of a slog, but it's brought a single.
More smeary than anything else, wasn't it?
Smeary, yeah, very smeary indeed. But, yeah, lots of pensive looks in the South African dressing room. Down the leg side,
that'll be a wide.
Gaze has done well to get there. Hasn't been given.
Hopefully it's called this time.
I don't think it's been called, and
second time.
Tryon is very upset about that. I can only presume that the umpire felt that she got a bit of bottom edge on it,
or bottom,
or a bit of bottom. Maybe.
Second time a wide hasn't been called.
107 for 6. You're feeling bad about this now, Shelley, I can tell.
Yeah, you know what? When you've had so many near experiences, it gets a bit much.
Absolutely.
On YouTube, our own Tony Bishop is thanking again Brian for our care package.
I've got some here now at the Brewdog Lost Beer. Apparently, it's not lost. I found it.
Yeah.
Kerr is going to bowl her final over. Big heave outside the off stump from Dirksen. Beats the batsman. Beats the wicketkeeper too. They should get a couple of byes here, and he will do.
He says the Walani Shiraz is delightful.
Oh, right, okay. Oh, he's out there having... Hang on.
Yep.
Hang on, he's not out. He's driving me home. He can't be drinking it. Maybe he's had it before. Maybe that's what it is. hope so, anyway. Yeah, Kerr's bowled really well. I mean, it's going to be between Kerr and Halliday, isn't it, for woman of the match, player of the match?
You would have thought so.
Here she is again, Kerr, bowls, and drives again and gets an edge this time. Will the edge carry it to the boundary? No, it won't. It's the same two fielders after it. And they get back for 2 more. Well, 2 is still not enough. 2 runs per ball now, unfortunately. They need 3 runs a ball. 48 from 16 required.
Hard to call that a chance.
Oh, goodness me.
But
she did quite well to get anywhere near it, actually, the keeper.
I mean, that's bounced a lot off the edge, top edge.
Let's have a look. 111 for 6. And Kerr.
You do get the feeling that Dirksen is not going to...
She's launched this into the offside. There's a worry that 2 fielders were going to get in each other's way, but actually in the end Susie Bates says that's mine, and although there's a minor collision, she has hung on. Kerr has a 3rd wicket, probably brought her the player of the match
you would
award,
think so.
And South Africa slump, I'm afraid to say.
Oh, and we know why.
To 111 for 7. We know why what?
Nelson.
Of course. Oh, she hit that. Got that up really high on the bat, right on the splice. That's why she didn't get any power or timing into it. Halliday was the other fielder involved. Halliday
did very well to bail out and not clatter into Bates as she was completing the catch.
Bates taken 3 catches now, I think.
I think so.
Extra. Annery Dirksen is on her way, and it's all looking rather sad for South Africa.
I don't even have words to say anymore at this point.
No, I know. I can feel your disappointment, and I can. I always like to see New Zealand doing well, but I feel South
It's
Africa.
about time,
It is about time, yeah.
It's about time, and so here we go, waiting for the next opportunity.
Absolutely. Kerr then into Jafta, goes back and hauls this into the onside. It'll only be a single. We're down to the wicket-keeper now, I'm afraid to say. This is her jingle. Oh my god, it really isn't this long.
Tinala was born in East London town. There was applause and laughter. Tinala Jafta would grow up to be a cricket hero ever after.
It says it's 1 minute 38, but it wasn't. In she comes again, bowls, and Tryon drives. Running down the wicket. Up to Maddie Green, long on. And there's another single. 1 ball remaining in Kerr's spell. She's taken 3 for 20. She batted very solidly earlier as well, and she's kind of nailed on.
And she's got some catches.
She's had a catch. That's true. Here she is again. Ooh, full toss, smash. Oh, she's found the gap. She's found the gap, and that might race away. It will for a very rare one of these. That was Jafta, 5 off 2. Tryon's got 14 off 15, 117 for 7, 2 overs to go, 42 needed. Jason.
Enrique says, the writing's on the wall. The cup is waiting today for New Zealand.
Yeah, it is looking that way. It really is.
And Tony Bishop from the Green Room says, as well as her 2 for 18 versus Australia, Halliday has 6 wickets and 16 in T20s, so useful enough. On
slow pitches, on a decent pitch, I think I think quite a few players might fancy taking a few off her. 21 runs per over required, 42 off 2. Mayer is back. She bowls. Hauled down towards long on, catch is on, and it's taken low to the ground, but Maddie Green has already shown that she's very capable in that position. So the catching has been so much better today, but that is of no consequence for South Africa as they lose an 8th wicket, and it's almost done, I'm afraid to say.
Really, it's a kind of a scramble seam ball, and Tryon has to go through the line with it and just can't get all of it. She cloths it really to 3/4 of the way to the boundary.
Well, I mean, I don't think I think we saw 1 6 in the New Zealand innings.
That was a penultimate ball.
Yeah, that was a penultimate ball. Hitting straight for 6 on this wicket with pace off is is just very difficult. Although, fair enough, Mayer is one of the quicker New Zealand bowlers. But there you go, another wicket, and it's almost done and done with. Oh, Malaba is in. Malaba. How do I pronounce that? Malaba or Malaba?
Umlaba, I think.
Umlaba.
Yeah, that's good.
Umlaba has picked up a single out to deep mid wicket. Just try and find her jingle as we're trying to play as many as possible before the end.
Fantastic catch.
It was a good catch. Here comes Mayer again, 2 for 22. Oh, that's gone up in the air. This could be all over. Oh, are they going to get each other's way? No. Eventually, Mayer, for whom the ball was coming over her shoulder, leaves it. And
it's Bates again.
Bates has taken, I think, her 4th catch. Has she not? Or did she drop it?
Did she drop that?
Did she drop that? No one seemed very excited. I think they must have dropped it. Let's have a look again. Oh, yes, she dropped it. Yep, it went down. Oh, well, just as we were saying how good the catching has been. Mayer in again. And Mlaba again pulls it to Plymmer at deep mid-wicket. Just the single. 120 for 8.
But
New Zealand have played fantastic, and if that's the only negative today, it's happened with South Africa's backs to the wall, and it's probably not going to even matter. So, yeah, awesome play by the New Zealanders today.
Well, yeah, absolutely. But I mean, South Africa got off to a good start, didn't they? Just couldn't maintain it, and that's another wicket. Jafta has gone. She's bowled leg stump. The bail leaps out of the groove, and well, South Africa could well be bowled out within the 20 overs now. They are 120 for 9, and I think I'll just say this: bit of sadness.
Willow, weep for me. Willow, weep for me. Bend your branches.
Good ball. I mean,
It
that
was.
It gripped into the surface. It was a cutter.
Yep.
And just moved in enough to take through the admittedly quite large gate as
Not so much a gate as I don't know, what would you call it? I would say
barn door.
Barn door, something like that. Yeah,
But
absolutely.
no disrespect to Jafta. She was hitting out. No, it was always likely to be the way that people perish towards the end of this innings.
In comes Mayer. Final ball of the over. Forward defensive from Kaka is going to get us a single, as Plymouth has to come almost in as far as the 25-yard circle, and she'll keep the strike. 121 for 9. They need 38 off the last over. It's unlikely without no balls. This is the new batter.
Enrique says 2 more, which I think will be soon followed by 1 more.
Yeah, there's some rather depressed South Africans sitting there, arms folded.
They're disconsolate, aren't they?
Indeed. Carson,
Not
then it is.
just there, trust me.
Not just there. Smashed by Kaka. Is this going to be it? No, it drops short of long on, and she will take a single. She has 2 off 2. Carson into her final over, 1 for 18. It's pretty expensive in her first over, wasn't she?
Yeah, she'd come back very well,
Yeah.
because it was nearly 10 runs off the first over.
That's right. 122 for 9. Carson off spinner in again. Bowls. Mlaba hoiks it down the ground. So much effort for so little reward. Didn't really go very far at all. Dribbled towards long on, who had to come a long way to get it. 36 required off 4 balls. It ain't happening, I'm afraid, for
All
South
legal
Africa.
deliveries and it's all done.
Yep. In again, smash. This could be it. It's going to get. Just stop short of it, Green, and make sure she doesn't allow that to run away for 4. Not that it probably matters now. Just a single taken, 124 for 935 required off 3 balls. And Carson is in again to Mlaba, and she hoiks again. There's a lot of hoiking going on for little reward. Singles mainly. That's fielded again. Plimmer, she's been all over the place.
She's run kilometres, I imagine, in the field today.
Feels like that, doesn't it? Absolutely. 125 for 9. 2 balls to go. Stepping back, Kaka, as if she was going to drive that over the top of extra cover, but the technique wasn't quite there, and she drags it with the bottom hand up to long hole.
Look at all the
Tony would be very happy if they score a single off this last ball, because then
a GPL. We should be talking about the GPL.
New Zealand will have restricted them to the average score for the.
He'll love that. Absolutely. In she comes, throws it up, big one outside off stump, aims a drive, misses, and New Zealand have won. What a weekend for anyone down there in the distant part of the world from us. Miles and miles away. The fireworks are being launched, and hugs are going on in the New Zealand dressing room. A brilliant win by New Zealand by 32 runs. They'll be dancing in the streets of Auckland. They'll be dancing in the streets of Dunedin. Anywhere else? Mount Manganui. They'll be dancing in the streets of Wellington.
Christchurch.
In the streets of Christchurch. But they won't be dancing in the streets of Johannesburg. They won't be dancing in the streets.
Well, they might be protesting about something.
They might be. Yeah, that's true. But wow. Well, that was. Do you know? It's really interesting that New Zealand should have won it, and they won it by scoring 158 runs, batting first. Because I think it was it either the first or the second game of the tournament was India against New Zealand, and New Zealand thrashed India, didn't they? They scored 160, I think, 161, and I thought, and bowled India out for just over 100. And I thought to myself, wow, now that is a big shock. But then when I saw New Zealand after that, they weren't that impressive. They weren't impressive against Australia. And I kind of doubted them. I didn't really see them as potential winners. But they really have come through and surprised everyone and played really good cricket. And today, you have to say, having been put into bat by South Africa, they came out with a very different game plan. It was running down the wicket, cross-batted shots over mid-wicket in the power play. That's what they were looking for. And it worked well for them. And then especially later on when Halliday came to the wicket, Kerr was out there for a long time and batted really well. It was just a great performance. A little bit sloppy in the field from South Africa, you felt. Maybe they, opening with 2 seam bowlers wasn't necessarily the way to go, because we've seen how slow these pitches are. But well, you can't take anything away from New Zealand. They've just performed magnificently, and they claim their first World T20 title. Brilliant work. Well, we've got 2 South Africans. We've got no Kiwis to come on here and to really go and get excited and to sort of send some jeers at South African rivals.
This is called the graveyard shift.
It is indeed. It is.
Yeah.
It's very disappointing. I mean,
we could always
let's see. Shelley and Richard, where did it all go wrong?
Billy, you want to start?
Yeah, I'll go first. I think for me, the attitude of the New Zealanders when they came out to bat was just a different class compared to probably what South Africa was expecting them. They'd really gone quite slow builds in their previous innings, and they came out with intent today. Something else for the South Africans to look back on was they had 10 wides, 3 no balls. That all counts at the end of the day. So if you take those 15 extras that they had, let's take away the 2 leg buys, so 13, excluding any runs off the free hits, already that number of 158 is a lot more achievable. And with that massive total on the board, it was always going to be a big challenge. So yes, another great effort, I think, from the South African girls. Massive kudos to the New Zealanders. and the long wait for any South African men or women's team to win any tournament continues.
In cricket.
In cricket.
There we go.
2026. You've got to look forward to 2026. I mean, you've been in 2 finals. Got to be third time lucky, hasn't it, Richard?
Yeah, well, the good thing is, these finals seem to come around, these tournaments seem to come around every few months nowadays with T20 and 50 overs and then the men and the women, and just there's barely a year without a chance to have another go. So that's the good side of things. No, I agree. The attitude of the Kiwis was quite noticeably different at the start. They played like a team that had really nothing to lose. They played with a smile on their face all day. So, yeah, in terms of their spirit and attitude, they played that way, but also in terms of their game plan. Again, the way they played their shots, the way they used their feet at the beginning, could have been risky, could have backfired. But it was all about just putting pressure onto the other team. And you can do that when you're enjoying your game and you're just going out there to have a crack. Arguably, they weren't the favourites. South Africa looked like a team that really was worried about losing, was under a lot of pressure.
I suppose it's difficult, isn't it?
Next time.
You've got that albatross around your neck, haven't you, of all these previous near misses, and
exactly.
So just
it piles up.
It's in your. It's got to be in your head, even though you're talking about the men's team quite mainly, but of course the women's team last year as well. Do you think that's a fair point, Shelley? Do you think that that's something that was preying on their minds?
If you just think back a few months, I think South Africa had never beaten Australia. They went down to Australia and beat Australia in Australia. And when they took them on in the last game, it was a massive difference. So for me, until there's a victory in a major competition for the ladies, it's always going to be a challenge because it's going to sit with you. Can we do this? So until the first time, yeah, it'll probably be sit with them a bit.
And of course, people like us constantly reminding them of that, I guess. And not that they probably listen that closely to guerrilla cricket, but I mean the mood music out there is that one of near misses, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so. And actually, there is also that other point of getting up after a big win. I did notice there was an interview with one of the South African players. I can't remember who it was, but before the game, she kind of unthinkingly said, Australia was the big one for us. And then she tried to backpedal and be like, oh, no, obviously we respect New Zealand and whoever. And I thought, yeah, but we know what's going on in your head, maybe.
Yeah.
You've beaten the Aussies and you think it's not consciously, obviously, but there is that thing of, backing it up.
I mean, whoever ends up in the final of, well, it's not really a knockout tournament, but it is to a certain extent. They're looking at Australia and what Australia have achieved in the game, and they're thinking they're the big team, and they're thinking Australia, South Africa probably should be the final. But as you say, I think that's a really good point that you've picked up on there. That them saying that, because just there's perhaps a little bit of subconscious complacency, maybe.
Yeah, I mean that's and also just finding the performance level again. I mean, you think of the last Rugby World Cup when England surprisingly destroyed the All Blacks in the semi-final, and that's kind of almost a similar situation. That was their big day, and then when they came to the final against South Africa, they had nothing. And I mean, there may be one or two parallels you could draw to that kind of situation.
I'm just wondering. I mean, we're obviously it sounds good because it's been a great weekend for New Zealand sport and New Zealand
worried
cricket.
about that this morning.
Well,
after they won the cricket, it was like the headline writers all around the world are hoping for New Zealand to complete the double in cricket, and I think there was something in sailing as well.
Yeah, sailing. Who knew? Well, there was. It was the America's
cares,
Cup. They beat Britain, of course they did. Yeah, I just wonder maybe they took inspiration from that. And that gave them a little bit of a fillip, maybe made them think that this is our time. As I say, Tony has come back. Do you want to come in and chat, Tony? Tony doesn't want to chat. He's had enough. He wants to go. He's trying to wind him up. Tell me to bring it to a close. I just want to check on the GPL. Now, it was 158 and 120 watt. Can anyone remember offhand? Because we've had
158 and it was 126.
So that's 284. So there are no winners of the GPL. The highest prediction was 273. In fact, all 6 predictions of the day were made by messages. 223, 233, 243, 253, 263, 273. But no, it was 284. So no winners there. Well, thank you guys. Thank you for not smashing up your own rooms in despair. South
Put
Africa.
Too much effort into this.
I may be going and chopping down that lovely palm tree in the background. But
I can see it now.
hacking away at it. It would be understandable if you did, but
Jenny is sharpening her axe.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, that is it. That is the end of the World T20 Women's Tournament. It's been an odd one, hasn't it? I think lots of catches dropped. Difficult for batters, especially at Sharjah, and then also to a certain extent at Dubai. And apart from, was it India getting 170 against someone? New Zealand have got the 2 highest scores, haven't they? 161 and 158. So you kind of have to say they probably deserved it in the long run. And they struggled. They struggled in England, didn't they, in the summer? But it seemed to suit them, this sort of pitch.
Yeah, and they've broken their duck as well. Let's not forget. Although there's no. Let's fly the flag for the Kiwis for just a moment. You know, they've also reached their share of finals in major white ball competitions on the men's side.
Yep.
And fallen short. So this will be a similarly big. For some reason, no one ever calls them chokers.
Well, actually, no, they have.
2015.
They did win a World Test Championship, though, didn't they?
Yeah, but we're talking chokers are only a white ball thing.
Yeah, true. You can't choke in Test matches. I think you've seen
they were trending in that direction, and now they've got a breakthrough. So
yeah, quite a few, quite a lot of emotion out there as well. Tears for some of the women out there as well. So a really nice moment for them. Fantastic stuff from New Zealand. Now you should know, if you're listening to Guerrilla Cricket for the first time, we're really happy to have you along. Please don't be strangers. Come back and listen to us again, and you can listen to us next on Thursday morning from 6 a.m. That's still British summertime, just about. It'll be merging into GMT, I think, on Sunday, something like that. Anyway, so people coming in on Sunday will have to get up extra early, which is no fun at all. But that will be the third and deciding test from Rawalpindi of Pakistan v England. That one's really nicely set up, and so we hope you can come and join us again. If you'd like to support us, you can go to patreon.com/Guerrilla Cricket, because we are all volunteers, would you believe, and we have enormous costs to deal with, and so anything that you can spare on a monthly basis would be very, very much appreciated. Anyway, we should make for home, I think, now. Tony's desperate to get away. And we've got to say thank you to everyone who's been on today. Who's been on today? Forthy's popped in, Messers has popped in, Shelley and Richard have done sterling work. Tony's been here, Jason, did I mention him? And me, of course. Don't forget me. Until Thursday, we hope we'll hear more from Richard and Shelley in the not too distant future. It's goodbye from all of us on Guerrilla Cricket. Bye-bye.
Guerrilla Cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla Cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla. Take guard, man the barricades, patrol the cover boundary. At last the time is come, this is a cricketing emergency. Hear this call to arms for every cricket revolutionary. Take up your bats and stumps for the test match insurgency. At first they tried to silence us, but we would not be silenced. They threatened us with lies, so we threatened them with violence. Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare,
O'Brien, Kevin, guerrilla cricket. It's not about the winning, it's about how many rules you break. Even in cricket commentary, this is the best advice to take. Pick guerrilla cricket, it's the finest choice you'll ever make. There's so much more to cricket than rev counters and a slice of cake. At first they tried to sanitize us and clean up our act, but people like it filthy, and we know that for a fact.